San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And a happy Monday to everybody out there in America's finest city. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Getting ready to go on a Monday. You have a weird, confused look on your face. Can you even hear me on your side of things?
I can hear you. I couldn't hear the
program.
The open. Yeah,
I couldn't hear the open either in the headset.
I can't hear programming. That's fine.
What did Kyle do?
JR.
We have one remote show out in Peoria, and all of a sudden,
now the studio's busted.
It has something to do with the headphone thing. This has happened before.
Wonderful.
So it's something to do with like the headphone choice. What's HP say over there that it's connected to?
HP is lit up over here.
Yes. Well, what's it say above it? What's it listed as?
Channel mode.
No. Above that, there should be a thing. What's that? What's
program?
There you want to put it on program. Yeah.
There we go.
Play a foul. See if it works.
Hopefully. Hold on. Yeah. Foul on the studio here. Hold on.
Oh, wow. There you go. Foul on Kyle. Foul on Kyle. Why would he do that? What was it on?
It was on record.
Oh, man. Kyle. Killing me, Smalls. All right. Well, since then we had that, we can actually throw our faces up. Hey, look. Hey, we're not as disgruntled anymore. We figured out how to use the radio station. Aren't you glad I know how to do that?
We figured out how to work.
Jeez. Okay. Well, that threw us off the train of thought. But foul on Kyle to start the Monday.
But there you go.
He draws the foul.
I feel like we got to replay the open and then do it over again. A little reset.
Right, San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And a happy Monday to everybody out there in America's finest city. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and locally each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. That sounds way better. That sounds way better. I'm glad we redid that. All right, we're back in action. It's a Monday. You know what, Frank? I can finally drop the joke. It's spring training for everybody.
Yes, it is.
Spring training for everybody. How about that? Don't even start with that.
No,
I hear an
no
echo. Don't even start.
There's
Don't
no
even
echo.
start.
Stop
No, we're not doing that bit twice. All right, lot to talk about when it comes to the weekend in San Diego sports. We had the good, we had the bad, and we had the ugly this weekend. The good, Padres baseball is back. San Diego FC dominated. It's a lot of good. College baseball is fun. That was pretty much all of my weekend. The bad, well, results-wise, the Padres didn't do that great. But again, we're not really judging the results. We're judging the process. So I don't really want to talk about it too much. The ugly, of course, is the fact that San Diego State has knocked themselves out of the NCAA tournament. I mean, that's basically where you're at right now. They went up to Fort Collins and got their ass handed to them by the Rams. So they're out. I mean, there's no making the NCAA tournament now unless they win the Mountain West tournament. Or they go 3-0 against Boise State, New Mexico, and Utah State, with Boise State, New Mexico being on the road and Utah State being at home. But I don't think that's really going to happen. Not after what we've seen out of this Aztec team. That is probably the most disappointing Aztec team in the last 15, 20 years. I mean, just incredibly disappointing. With everybody they had coming back, with Reese Dixon Waters coming off of an injury and coming back, and it just seemed like everything was working out for San Diego State. They decided to, be a massive disappointment. Massive disappointment. But I don't want to spend too much time on the Aztecs because you know what? They're playing their way out of relevancy right now on this show and right now on the station because I don't know what they've been doing, but it hasn't been good basketball. I mean, we'll try to keep you updated on what's going on with the Aztecs, but you got Padres baseball back. Overall, great to see Padres baseball back. Great to see baseball in general back. Great to see spring training baseball. And as I mentioned with Frank a couple of weeks ago, we're going to get like 4 days of this, 5 days of this, and it's going to be like, all right, how many more of these do we have to do? There's a lot of great movement with the Padres right now in terms of the way players are playing. So we have had, since we went off air on Friday, we have had 3 Padre games. Again, you can't overanalyze the results. Okay? You can't overanalyze results. But I will tell you this. Nick Castellanos, that first game, he looked pretty comfortable at first base, Frank. I mean, that diving play he made to the right, I mean, as much as everybody said, it's so hard to change position. The guy's an athlete. He's going to be athletic. He makes an athletic play. You want to see, that's what you're looking for in spring training. Like, does he feel comfortable at first base? Can he defensively play first base? I know he hasn't really gotten off to a great start offensively, but overall, I've liked the approach out of these guys. They're not chasing. Like, I like the way, and I've heard Tony Gwynn Jr. say this on the broadcast a couple of times as I got to listen. Isn't it great, Frank, to drive around San Diego, sunny, great weekend, and you got baseball playing on the radio? There's nothing better than that.
It's nice for me since I just got a new radio in my car after not having one for 3 years. So, yeah, it was pretty awesome.
That's ironic that somebody that works in radio does not have a working one in his car. That's a different story for a different day. But as Tony Gwynn Jr. mentioned, he loved the approach with Jackson Merrill. Jackson Merrill's doing a really good job of not swinging out of the zone. That's what you're looking for, that type of process. The process of how this team utilizes Steven Susan Jr. as their new coach. I like the way that Fernando's played so far this year, early on, and being an overall well-rounded hitter. I think last year did a really good job in the sense of, I think last year Fernando did a good job of making himself a well-rounded hitter where he's more patient at the plate. I think you've seen some of that this weekend. I like the way that guys are stepping up too. I mean, we were talking about it. We've looked at the roster. We're going to change that again this week to see what the update is, but you have this battle. You have multiple battles going on. You look from a position player side of things. You got guys like Ty France, Gavin Sheets, Nick Castellanos. I mean, some of those guys are already going to be on the team, but don't count out Jose Miranda, Frank. We kind of forgot about him a little bit, like before when it was coming to the roster. Like, oh look, they added Nick Castellanos. They picked up Ty France. I was sitting there going, like, I think they had somebody else ready to go, and it was like, oh, it's Jose Miranda. Well, we'll see what Jose Miranda's got. What has Jose Miranda got? Jose Miranda's got a great batting average right now.
Yeah, he's been stunning over these first couple of days. I mean, we'll go over it more next segment. He's 5 for 6 with 6 RBIs.
Yeah,
already this spring. It's
2 for 3 on Friday, 3 for 3 on Saturday. I mean, just that is the type of, and again, you can't overanalyze spring training results, but when a guy comes out on a heater like that, it's hard to ignore what he has done, and it's hard to ignore that when you start evaluating players for a roster. Now, there are 3 spring training games in, so you can't, early get hot streak. That happens in baseball. Probably every one of the players on this team is going to go 5 for 6 at some point during the season. All of them are going to go 5 for 6 at one point during the season. Jose Miranda's comes out hot out of the gate. But that's what he has to do to try to make this team, right? That's what he needs to do to try to make this team. From a pitching side of things, Tristan McKenzie, he's got competition. did not look very good over the weekend. Did not look good yesterday against the Dodgers. 2/3 of an inning, 4 runs, 2 hits, 1 strikeout, 2 walks. He only threw 26 pitches. He's off to a rough start. But again, as I mentioned, a lot of the pitchers need to get built up as spring training goes. They're going to get hit a lot. But when you're a guy like Tristan McKenzie, you can't have too many of those. Everybody's going to have one of those outings in spring training. You can't have too many of those. He's off to a little bit of a rougher start. But overall, like the way a lot of these players have played, like the way that the Padres have put together some pretty good games. And again, today, they're going to be back in action. All right, they're going to start at 12 o'clock again as soon as, we're still on a different time zone than Arizona. And once the time's flipped, then the games will start becoming at 1 o'clock out here on the West Coast. They're already playing at 1 o'clock out there in Arizona. But you'll got another game today at noon. 12:10 start, J.P. Sears making his spring training debut with the start today. He's another guy that's going to have to go out there and look really good. Matt Waldron looked pretty good too, Frank. Matt Waldron looked good as he tries to battle for a spot. His velo was high.
Yeah,
like 93, 94 miles an hour.
Yeah, next segment we're going to get into that. There were a lot of guys that their velos were up, but let's amend what we said where you're not really paying attention to spring training results. You kind of are. You're not looking at the results of the game. You're not looking at the results for Manny. You're not looking at it for Fernando, but you're 100% looking at the results for guys like Jose Miranda. Nick Solak went 2 for 2 on Saturday with a home run. That's one of the guys you're looking at the results for, paying attention to those results very, very carefully. Tristan McKenzie, as you mentioned, Matt Waldron, same thing. So it's those guys who are on the fringe of who can make this roster and who can't. Those are the results that you really are paying attention to. And there was a lot of upside in those results over the weekend.
I think a lot of the positive results are like icing on the cake, but I think a lot of the evaluations are how's he going through this at bat?
Yeah.
How hard did he hit that ball? Because there'll be some times where guys are hitting like $125 in spring training, but they're just hitting seeds and they're not getting lucky. I mean, that's where like the baseball savant expected numbers really come about, because to me as an evaluator, baseball's so hard. We heard Steven Souza Jr. talk about it on Ben and Woods today. It is the only sport, to an extent, and I agree with this. As a football coach, I do agree with this. You can't replicate game action in practice for baseball. Like, you could scrimmage against yourself, but like you can't replicate what other players do pitching-wise. Mm-hmm. You can replicate plays that other teams run in football. You can replicate some schemes that basketball does. I mean, obviously you're not going to be able to replicate like high-end level performances out of certain players in basketball, but you can't replicate as a hitter what Paul Skeens is going to do. You can't make him. I know they're trying to make machines to do that, but you can't really replicate that. So it's all about the process in baseball. It's all about how he got to those at-bats. I mean, if a guy's hitting like 800, but all of them are infield singles, he's barely getting a piece of the ball, it's like, I don't really know if this is going to work out long-term. So there's some other metrics that they're looking at more than just average and on base and slug. In the regular season, you look at that because that matters when it comes to results of wins and losses, and all the games count towards the standings. But in spring training, you're trying to see how guys work through problems. You're trying to see them get built up. How's he throwing this pitch? How's he throwing that pitch? Can he locate this pitch from a pitching side, from a hitting side? Is he chasing stuff out of the zone? Is he staying disciplined? I mean, these are the game within the game that you should be watching when you watch the teams play, and not just, oh, he hit a home run, or, oh, he popped it up. But like, there's some at-bats that are not bad that end up in a pop-up. You work in the count, you drive up the pitch count, you foul off a handful of pitches. You know what? Guy makes a good pitch. That doesn't hurt the baseball team. That doesn't hurt your batter's chance. I mean, quality at-bats. And the thing is, the Padres are going to be looking for specific things for these individuals. You and I can guess and be like, hey, I think, I want to see Tristan McKenzie do X, Y, Z. But for the Padres, it could be something else. It could be ABC. And if Tristan McKenzie does ABC during the spring training, he's making the team. Yeah. So unless you know exactly what they're looking for, which they'll never really tell you, maybe behind the scenes they might, it's hard to evaluate spring training. That's why we said the disclaimer on Friday and on Thursday. You can't live and die with the results right now for these players. But I will say, for a guy like Jose Miranda, was off to a 5-6 start. It doesn't hurt him in the long run, right? It doesn't hurt that he's 5 for 6 to start the year and he's driven in runs and all this other stuff. If anything, it now brings more attention to Miranda by evaluators for the team of, can we fit this guy as part of our depth?
Yeah, and that's what we were discussing last year when we were defending the rough start to the season that Xander Bogaerts was having. We kept saying, guys, his bat speed's still there. He's not declining. His barrel percentage is still there. Expected batting average, batted ball luck just is not there for him. It's all the same things. Those are the numbers right now that you're looking for from these fringe players as to whether or not they are going to make the roster. So think back to everything we said about Xander Bogaerts at the start of last year. That's what you're looking for in these fringe roster guys.
They're looking for value in areas that can improve this roster even more. And I like the battles, right? Like, we're going to talk about Nick Castellanos a little bit later and say what you want about him off field, all that stuff. Does he change his tune? That's a big question, a big storyline. But if Castellanos plays a good first base, which is not expected, what does that mean for Gavin Sheets, right? Like, I mean, Gavin Sheets was kind of penciled in to be that first baseman. Are they going to split time at first base? Can Nick Castellanos play his way into a everyday first baseman and now you're platooning at DH? I mean, there's a lot of that in play too with spring training, with jobs, with playing time. I mean, each individual position has some type of competition going on. The guys like Xander and Manny and Jackson and Fernando, not really compete. They're competing against themselves more than anything else. But for guys that are mixed in with the team, yes, guys making a roster, and there's guys on this team that are playing for opportunities to play. There's bullpen arms that are competing for getting an opportunity aside from just long relief. There's starting pitchers that are playing for opportunities of rotation, whether it be in El Paso or whether it be here at the big league level. And here's the other thing too. Like, as much as Jose Miranda, Frank, is trying to make this particular team, he's competing to be on 29 other teams right now too. There's going to be somebody else that wants him. I mean, they can't keep everybody. So guys like Jose Miranda and Nick Solak that are looking at a bunch of hoops they got to jump through to make this squad, they still got to ball out to try to make somebody else's team that might be looking for an outfielder or a utility infielder or a first baseman or whatever it may be.
Yeah, this is your audition right now. And there are guys, it's so nice to say, because we've been saying it over the course of the last couple of years with guys like Jason Hayward and Yuli Gurriel, guys that were playing for their careers. We're not really seeing that right now. You don't really have a guy who's playing to show, hey, I can still do it at this advanced age. You're seeing guys like Miranda, who's in his 20s, Nick Solak, who's been around for a little while, but he's not like deep in his 30s or anything like that, that are auditioning not just for this team, but as you said, it's an open audition for the entire league that everyone gets to see.
We're going to take a look at some of the big performers over the weekend for Padres baseball, some players to look out for, some players that are in competition, and what their metrics say. We'll take a look at the metrics when we come back as we discuss what happened this weekend in Padres baseball, leading you up to, we got some Padres baseball that we could talk about later on today too. We will be on until 2 o'clock today. No Padres baseball on the radio, but you can get on Padres.tv. When we come back, a deeper look at how individuals did in competition on the Padres roster on the Padres radio network. Got a new hotline sponsor, right? New hotline sponsor, San Diego County Credit Union. All guests airing on 97.3 The Fan, brought to you by SDCCU. It's not big bank banking, it's better.
All guests except for Sam Levitt, who's still on the old line. We got to get a new one out to him. He left for Peoria before we can give him the new line.
He's got his own sponsor. He's got a special line. He's got the David P. Shapiro line. They loves it. They love Sam. All right. Let's talk about there's a lot of players happening right now when it comes to a lot of guys getting some action. And right now, it's too early. It's 3 games. You can't really look, especially from a hitter's perspective, it's too early. It's 3 games. They don't do expected numbers in spring training. Lame. Probably because it's stupid to look at expected numbers for spring training with ballpark factors and all that stuff. They don't have, you tell me they don't have the ballpark factors for Peoria, where it's impossible to try to catch a fly ball in left field? You tell me that's the case?
No, because that would make the numbers go down.
So I found out this is a crazy stat, dude. This is crazy. Adjusted exit velocity is a new stat that I've seen this year.
Okay.
Maybe it happened last year. I don't know. So I Googled what adjusted exit velo is. This is crazy that this is part of the, quote, methodology. I'm going to get to that in a second. So adjusted exit velocity is a baseball prospectus metric that controls for external factors such as opposing pitcher quality, stadium, and environmental conditions to better evaluate a hitter's true performance. It uses linear mix modeling to isolate a batter's raw power, making it a more accurate, context-neutral measure of performance than raw average exit velo. That sounds promising, right, Frank? That doesn't sound bad. I explained that to any of my friends that played college baseball or any baseball level. They'd be like, what are you talking about? Anyway, key aspects of adjusted exit velo. Context control. Unlike raw exit velocity, the adjusted metric removes the noise created by playing in hitter-friendly parks or facing weak pitchers. So you don't get the boost for playing against a guy that throws soft stuff and playing at Great American Ballpark. Okay. Or Coors Field. You know what? I think it was just they got upset that the Coors Field guys were hitting the ball harder, maybe. Here's where it's just like, really? The methodology of adjusted exit velo in a men's sport. The formula uses a linear mix model and incorporates shrinkage to ensure the averages better represent long-term player performance rather than short-term luck.
Okay.
Shrinkage.
3 things.
To ensure the averages better represent long-term performance rather than short-term luck.
3.
Is this for hitting?
3 things.
Okay.
Again, I say nerd. Number 2.
Phrasing.
Number 3, what does it matter if he got out of a pool? What does that matter?
Foul.
Why is it a foul?
It's a foul. You know it's a foul.
He draws the foul.
This whole, you know what's a foul? Adjusted exit velo is a foul. The formula uses a linear mix model and incorporates, it literally has in quotations, shrinkage to ensure the averages better represent long-term player performance rather than short-term luck.
Guy takes an ice bath and all of a sudden he's getting dinged on his exit velo.
If I see, you know, I don't have to be on dating apps right now, which is great. But if I see my buddies, they add to dating apps the adjusted exit velo, I'll know for a fact it's not a baseball stat. Shrinkage, player performance, short-term luck. That sounds like something that would be in the dating side of things. What are we doing, Major League Baseball? What is this?
Adjusted exit velo that is adjusted for the type of floor your potential girlfriend turns around and slips on as she goes to sprint out the door when you try to explain to her what this stat is. You get more grip on carpet. Linoleum, you're gonna be spinning wheels.
We decided, and I don't mean we, because you and I, Frank, would have came up with a better phrase, but baseball people decided that to gauge the velocity of how hard a ball is hit by a man, we decided to use the term shrinkage.
Phrasing.
Why? Seriously, I looked it up, and I was not going to go down this path until I read the definition of adjusted exit velocity, because I noticed that was on this StatCast deal. And again, essentially, too, they're grading on a curve. So, like, the lowest you could get on the adjusted exit velo is 88 miles an hour. I like the alternative definition better. In some contexts, it refers to a simplified formula that averages the maximum of 88 miles an hour and the actual exit velocity. Why didn't you just do that?
Go Aztecs asking the real question. Is there a correlation between nerds and shrinkage?
It's possible. But that's not for our show to discuss.
No, that's not. That's for our podcast.
Is that going to be one of our commercial break videos this week? A breakdown of adjusted exit velo, shrinkage, performance, short-term.
I mean, this
life.
whole segment could be one of our commercial break videos at this point.
It probably could. To go back to the high performances of the San Diego Padres, Jose Miranda, 5 for 6, 2 doubles, a home run, 2 runs scored, 6 RBIs, and a walk. Nick Solak off to a good start, 3 for 5 with a double, a home run, 3 runs scored, and an RBI. Everybody's velocities are up from last season, which is great to see from the pitchers that we saw. Matt Waldron, Ron Marinaccio, Randy Vasquez, Garrett Hawkins, and to a point where they have had these profiles. And speaking of the nerds, Frank. Nerd.
Oh, I was waiting for you to say the stat.
The nerds say that the Padres have some pretty wicked pitchers so far in spring training.
Demons.
Demons.
San Diego was called a demon factory.
I like the sound of that. Demon factory. What about this demon factory? Well, we'll talk about some of these pitchers and the upgrades that they have gotten. Is it a Ruben Niebla effect? Is he just producing and processing pitchers into pitching demons? We'll talk about it when we come back. What popped off on the metrics for Garrett Hawkins, for Randy Vasquez, for Ron Marinaccio, and for Matt Waldron? And here's the thing. Those are players that are battling for opportunities on this team. If the Padres could get those guys into pitching demons, who knows how good this team can be? What are we talking about? We'll discuss it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Sports Station 97 through the Fan. (10:37) broadcasting live for the Bill House Studios. We know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. What happened to, like, spring training jerseys? Did we just not do those anymore? Like, Fanatics makes everybody wear their regular jerseys now.
Yeah, because
like the Cardinals are wearing their home uniforms right now, and Miami's wearing their alternates.
Yeah, and Fanatics can't even get those right. So, did you see the big kerfuffle that's gone on with the Red Sox?
Yeah, they had uniforms they didn't like or something.
They had the letters, the D and the S on the chest covering up the piping. Like overlapping the piping. Not only were they overlapping the piping, but you could see the letters were crooked in some of them. So the Red Sox sent it back. They said, no, we'll take the promotional pictures in these because, I mean, this is all we've got right now.
Oh, that looks terrible.
But you got to fix this.
Yeah, that's terrible. Oh, yeah, it looks awful. They usually separate it, right?
Yeah,
on the piping?
It's never on the piping.
It looks like so scrunched together. Like there's a picture in this article that I just pulled up with Garrett Crochet.
Yeah.
It looks so bad. Yeah, they look like they got it off like some shady website is what it looked like.
I mean, it's everything the Fanatics has done with the uniforms, from the names on the back being tiny, which was a disgrace. Everything the Fanatics has done with these uniforms has been wrong. Every single thing, and they've had to either correct or revert everything that they've done.
Didn't they hose somebody with like they hosed the Titans. They put the Titans new logo on like a dog toy online already before they unveiled it, and everybody's like, oh, I guess that's the Titans logo that they were going to have a huge unveil for. They had to like take it off the website. Like, oh, sorry, our bad. Terrible. Yeah, I'm looking at the Red Sox comparison jerseys right now. I mean, it looks so clean, like the regular ones, but like it's on the pipe. Who thought that one looked good? And two, here's that they probably have people that don't watch sports in charge of these uniforms, and they're like, oh, wow, that looks bad, but I guess that's what they do. I don't know. I don't watch baseball.
And like there was one of them, like the S, the bottom of the S was on the piping on one of the jersey, and then on a different one, both the bottom and the top of the S were covering the piping, so you could tell it was crooked.
Yeah, it looks bad. It doesn't look good. But these spring training, I mean, the Padres, I like the brown. We don't wear the brown enough, the brown with the tan pants. Like, those are sweet. We just never wear them because I don't think none of the pitchers like them. The only one that seemed to like those on the road is you.
Darvish, yeah.
Darvish is the only guy that likes those. I like those uniforms. I like them better.
Sand ones.
Hot take. I like them better than the sand ones.
I like the sand ones.
I thought the cool thing about the
brown
sand
ones are good, but I do like
we
the
never
ones.
wear the brown. The thing was when they unveiled the uniforms, the brown was supposed to be the everyday road, and the sand ones were supposed to be the alternate. And I see the sand too much. I'd rather see the sand as an alternate away and have the brown all the time. But now they like basically reversed it. They wear the sand all the time and they wear the brown as like every once in a while. I like the brown ones better, but like everybody's just wearing their regular uniforms now at spring training. When you look up at the game, Cardinals are wearing their sand. The only thing that's different is the hat. And the hats are cool. I mean, the cactus and the grapefruits, like, no, all right. But the hats are cool. Like, nobody's got a cooler hat than the Mets, by the way. With Mr. Met, we're rocking the shades.
Yeah.
Awesome. But the spring training, I mean, like, they used to have, like, cool spring training uniforms.
By the way, we had a big breaking news in Metland on that.
Let me put my care face on.
It was after the first day of spring training. Someone took a picture behind Mr. Met, who had took his hat off for the national anthem, and discovered Mr. Met is bald.
Wow.
I know.
We didn't think he had hair?
No. We all kind of assumed that he was bald, but now we've got the official confirmation.
Oh. Who announced? What?
It was some goober that took a picture of Mr. Met
Mr.
and
Met.
like, oh my God, he's bald. And everyone in Metland was like, yeah, yeah, he is. Very good.
I mean, Wilbur the Wildcat's got the Friar Tuck look. The hair is only around when Wilbur takes his hat off. He's balding. Hashtag bald shaming.
No, we're not bald shaming. I'm closer to being bald than he is over there. So I'm not,
That
trust me.
doesn't mean a lot.
I'm not gonna say anything, because if I say something, then it's just gonna get up and run away, and I don't want that.
Actually, might as well ask Wilbur what he thinks. He's very bald. He's got the hair on the side just for like the cowboy hat he wears. It's great. 833-288-973, 833-288-973. I mean, some of the metrics of these pitchers, I take the word for it on some of these guys. The induced vertical break's kind of cool. I mean, I actually know how that works. None of these guys have the induced vertical break on their fastball that's electric like Nick Pivetta. Juan said the metrics for Bradley Rodriguez was like 22 inches on the induced vertical break. And what happens with the induced vertical break, I talked about this last year. I learned this from this is the good thing about being around baseball coaches at the college level now. I actually get to learn some of these metrics that they pay attention to. The induced vertical break on a fastball, if that gets over 20 inches, it gives the appeal that the ball is rising on you, and when it actually is not. So if you get anybody pitching north of 20 inches on their induced vertical break, that is like elite level fastball throwing. But according to these metrics for Marinaccio, Vasquez, Waldron, and Hawkins, they got some nasty stuff, Frank. When you look at the spin rate, when you look at some of the horizontal break, when you look at the pro stuff plus and all that stuff, I can't tell you like a deeper dive into what that means, but all I know is Ron Marinaccio had some electric stuff on the mound against Kansas City, a guy that's trying to compete for that final bullpen spot if Jason Adam isn't ready to go on opening day. A guy that's out of options. Matt Waldron, who's competing for a starting rotation spot, also out of options. He had some pretty good numbers and whiff percentage on his knuckleball, and pro stuff plus was over 100, which is better than average. He had some good stuff. And the biggest thing with Waldron was his fastball was 93 miles an hour. That's usually lower 90s, but he had some high velo for him, which was great to see. Maybe it's just the adrenaline of pitching again and back at spring training. Garrett Hawkins, 2-pitch pitcher. He only threw a fastball and a changeup. He had good stuff on his stuff too. I mean, it was 60% whiff rate. His changeup on his stuff plus was over 100, better than an average changeup in Major League Baseball. But these are those fringe players, and the point of this whole conversation is they're putting up numbers, Frank, that are showing that the Padres have a lot more depth of pitching than I think a lot of us anticipated. But it's still only one game for these guys. We'll see how it develops.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing that I'm seeing from Garrett Hawkins here that we have on this little graphic here is he's got that curveball that he was throwing was coming from about 7 feet. So, normally you'll see some pitchers like come from here, like like almost like a sidearm kind of thing or a 3/4. He's bringing it up from all the way up here and then kind of coming down on it with the way he was throwing it. And it really makes that changeup move the way he was throwing it and got 2 strikeouts out of it. So, I mean, that is a big threat. If you can get a guy like Garrett Hawkins, who really no one was paying much attention to, you can get him going and possibly use him as a genuine option. That does show some hidden depth that you were not expecting this offseason.
It's hard to like keep up with a lot of these metrics. They keep advancing. As we discussed in the last segment, the adjusted exit velocity, shrinkage, that stuff, it just keeps getting more and more and more. You know, one of the guys I've talked to is he's pretty good, and he's on the coaching staff at USD. Josh Nikolov. He went to Columbia. He played at Columbia. He's super into like pitch framing and pitch creation. And he's got a good inside look at a lot of this stuff. He also has a degree from Columbia. Okay, so that's a massive input. But it'd be good. I don't know if he'd want to come on. It'd be good to have him on to like kind of learn how some of this stuff works out. But if not, I'll see him tomorrow for USD, UCSD, and I'll talk to him a little bit about and show him some of the metrics that these guys have, and maybe he can translate it in English for us on some of these deals. It is a thing that you have to be super passionate about. One of my friends Perez is super into like pitch creation and stuff like that because he used to do some of that with Washington State baseball as a manager. I feel like you got to be really into it to dive into the weeds on this stuff. I mean, I could dive into the weeds of bracketology, could dive into the weeds of some football metrics that, you know, as a coach, but
I can tell you how a race tire reacts.
Some of this baseball stuff is just it's over the top. Like, if you're going to use it to evaluate your players and everything and maybe like make some adjustments for them, great. But I don't think stop it. It's funny. It's not that funny. It's not that funny. Why would you do that? When it comes to like sometimes you don't want to tell your players these things though. Like you don't want to overanalyze and like give players too much information. And sometimes that's the case. There's a lot of stuff from these coaches that don't want to have these players look at some of this stuff. I'm sure it helps, but at the same time, sometimes it could be paralysis by analysis. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Tim in Miramar. Tim wants to weigh in, probably not on the metric stuff, but what do you got for us today, Tim?
I'll save that for you guys. So, I'm not that smart. So Tatis will no longer be leading off with basically the same guys available as last season. I couldn't be happier. Schultz was wrong. Stamen's right, and I think it's going to prove out over the course of the season. So let's see what happens. I couldn't be happier. So let's see what happens. Now, he's got Bogaerts leading off right now, but I just want to throw this out, and I'll back it up with some stats real quick. All right? Who is second on the Padres last season in on-base percentage? By 1 point.
Well, second? I couldn't tell you on the top of my head.
Cronenworth. Okay, he was 1 point below Tatis in on-base percentage, which is what you want at leadoff. I'm just throwing this out there. Do you know who was seventh in all of baseball in pitches seen per at-bat last season?
Cronenworth. Now, I understand that kind of messes up lefty-righty, but you got, against the righty, you could go Cronenworth, Merrill, Machado, Tatis. Cronenworth gets hit by pitch a bunch of times. Okay, almost led the league. He walked a bunch last season. Okay, and that's what made his on-base percentage so high. I'm just saying, second to Tatis in on-base percentage by 1 percentage point. Seventh in all of baseball in pitches seen per at-bat. And those are two things you want from a leadoff hitter. Now, they're not a speed team anyway, so it's not like he's going to clog the bases. Bogart's not going to steal any bases. And I am so happy Tatis is not going to be leading off, and he's all in for it, apparently. What do you guys think? Cronenworth, I know it sounds crazy, and then you move Bogarts down in the lineup, but
But he's got 2 of the 3 things you want if he can duplicate last season and what you want in a leadoff hitter. Just saying.
What about batting him ninth?
Okay.
I'd have him bat ninth. I'd have him bat ninth and flip the order back up to Bogarts or whoever you want to make your leadoff guy. But then at that point, you could still go with your top 4 that you have. It doesn't mess up the righty-lefty. You have Fermin bat 8th. I mean, that could be the bottom there at your spot. And it's not like Fermin's so terrible he can't bat 8th. But I thought last year Cronenworth could be a great 9 spot and flip it back to the top because he's a as you mentioned, he's a pain in the ass to deal with as a pitcher. He's not. His numbers have been okay. They haven't been super great, but him as a second leadoff, I would not be opposed to. I don't think he would be that bad of a leadoff guy either. But 9, Frank, I think 9 would be great for Jake Cronenworth.
Yeah, that's called a good call right there. He came up with an idea and had some facts and statistics to back it up. But yeah, I think you want a little bit more pop at the beginning of the lineup, and this way you have those guys at the top to be able to drive him in, because that's one of the things that a lot of teams struggle with, is being able to drive in runs with the top of the order when you have guys on the bottom of the order that do get on base. So being able to get someone on base consistently at the bottom of the order for the guys at the top to be able to drive in, I think would be a little bit better a fit for what the Padres need right now.
I still like Tatis at the top. I think he's the best at the top. I think him having Luis Arraez bat behind him was death. I really do. I mean, he had no protection behind him whatsoever. And you look at Luis Arraez with the Giants. Look at his first at bat. What did he do? The exact same thing he had done here in San Diego. I can hit this ball. I'm going to hit this ball. It's not a ball I can do any type of damage with, but I'm going to hit this ball. I can hit it. You can't have that guy batting behind Fernando. He'll pitch around Fernando. He worked a walk. I thought the only benefit from having Fernando bat leadoff in front of Luis Arraez too, which I thought was a just disaster from the get-go, it taught Fernando how to be patient. I mean, he worked a lot of counts last year. Does that help Fernando in terms of like, does that type of Fernando help your team? Kind of not really. You want to see the guy swing. But now, after 1 year of doing that, he's still a very young player. I mean, he could be an all-around just pure hitter this year for the Padres. I'd still rather have him at the top because teams are afraid of him. I don't think teams are that afraid of Bogarts. I think teams are afraid of Tatis. I like Tatis in cleanup right now. Just, get comfortable, get some at-bats, get out there going, let him be a free swinger again. But I think with some protection, it'll be good. I like Merrill, too. How about this? They went against a lefty yesterday to start. And where did Jackson Merrill hit yesterday?
Number 2.
He still hit 2.
Yeah.
They're not afraid about him taking on lefties. I think Merrill should get as many opportunities against lefties as possible. And my thought process was for the lineups. They did like the righty lefty lineup that I think AC put it out. If you're gonna have Merrill bat in the top 4, right? If you're gonna, what's the point in moving him down to 4 against the lefty? If it's like a lefty-righty thing, he's still in the top 4. Just have him bat second. But it's an interesting conversation. Appreciate Tim and Miramar for bringing it up. We got more to break down from the weekend in Padres baseball. We'll get to that. Plus, a deeper look at Jackson Merrill and the big move that he made this camp.
Hey, it's
Man, we got great weather this weekend. Great weather coming up this week. It seems like should be a fun week here on the Braden Surprenant Show. Looking forward to it. Great talking Padres baseball with all of you. If you haven't done so already, we post Padres videos on the daily now. We're going to have Sam Levitt on again tomorrow. If you haven't done so already, hit subscribe to our YouTube page at @B_SURP. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We put content out each and every day. We're going to record some more content today that involves everything that we can't get to. We're going to have more stuff on the Aztecs. We're going to have stuff on the San Diego Gulls. We'll have a hockey update for you in the NHL. We got San Diego FC content. I mean, we didn't even get to that yet. They had a big win over the weekend that Frank went and saw in the press box. So much more stuff that it's fun, and we have it. It's right there when you click subscribe. When you log onto YouTube, you'll see our videos if you hit subscribe, and it's free to do. If you haven't done so already, you're watching on 97 Through the Fans page. We have our own page, the Braden Surprenant Show. We have the link in the description below where you can subscribe to our page. It's super easy to do. Gets all of our content right there, ready for you. As soon as you jump onto YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, you can subscribe to us. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to 97.3 The Fan. We got a lot of subscribers, trying to get to 10,000 for 97.3 The Fan. You can follow us on Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. All of our stuff is posted in podcast form as well. Be sure to follow us on social media at @B_SURP, at @BSURP, at @BSURP Show for our show account. You can follow Frank at FMarks324, and then be sure to follow our 97.3 The Fan accounts as well. All of the links to those are in the description below, whether you're watching on our page or on the 97.3 The Fan page. And again, it's super easy to subscribe. And again, if you go to youtube.com/@973 The Fan, you will find our page. And on there, here's the cool part. You can see all of our channels for all of our hosts. On the front page, you scroll down just a little bit, is right below the live now. It says our shows. Ben and Woods just got to 9,000 subscribers on YouTube. You can hit subscribe. They're going to have their logo. It's going to say their name. It's going to say how many subscribers they have. And then you hit the subscribe button right underneath. If it doesn't have one, you already subscribed to them. It's got Ben and Woods. It's got our show right there. We're trying to get to 1,000. We're at 784 right now. Trying to boost those numbers. Those are rookie numbers. Let's boost those numbers. Gwen and Chris up to 571 subscribers. You can subscribe to them. Sam Levitt, Matt Scraby. They're all listed right there on the 97.3 The Fan page. If you don't want to go there, it's easy to find us too. youtube.com/@B_SURP. Very simple. You find us right there. You'll have a subscribe button at the top and have all of our videos. We have a debate on the 6-man rotation. We have all of our interviews with Sam Levitt on there. We have updated playlists for pro sports when it comes to San Diego FC, the NHL, NBA, college sports, San Diego Gulls, high school sports. Pretty easy and easily accessible. Try to get you a wealth of knowledge out there, but it's all on YouTube, extra content for you guys. We're trying to boost our page as much as possible. So again, thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Let's talk, Frank, about some of the stuff that we didn't get to in the first hour. And the one I want to talk about the most is the Jackson Merrill effect here and what Jackson Merrill has done to lock in to being part of the organization and being a leader on this team. Now, Dennis Lin wrote a great piece on Jackson Merrill, and it gives us some insight on him as a San Diego Padre with the World Baseball Classic, with everything else. Remember I said with some of the open spots, I was surprised that Jackson Merrill wasn't going to participate in the WBC for Team USA. I thought for sure, well, we got an answer with that in this interview or this piece by Dennis Lin about the WBC. The thing with Jackson Merrill is, that guy's super locked in. But Dennis Lin asked Craig Stammen about the first impression he got from Jackson Merrill, and it was described as a teenager in charge. Summer of 2022 in Lake Elsinore, Craig Stammen, who is rehabbing at age 38, joined A-ball fielding drills up in Lake Elsinore. And a teenage shortstop stood out to him in Jackson Merrill. His takeaway was Merrill was running the field. Teammates looked to him. He was the best player, but also the best teammate, natural command presence. And even then, leadership wasn't forced. It was instinctive. This wasn't projection. It was recognition. And when it comes to leadership, anybody can lead. You don't have to be a good player to lead. Anybody can be a leader. But it's about taking responsibility for the results of your team. And that's something that Jackson Merrill definitely does. Anybody can take responsibility for the actions and leading in the right way and leading by example. And that's what Jackson Merrill is and what he's always been. You look back at what could have been watching this young player in Southern California emerge on stage. He could have been doing it in Angels uniform, Frank. Could have been doing it in Angels uniform. Padres nearly traded Jackson Merrill and a potential blockbuster for Shohei Ohtani at the deadline before Artie Moreno pulled him off the market. I mean, thank you, Artie. Is that a situation in which the Padres, even though they got Ohtani, would they have been able to sign Ohtani? Is that a different world that we live in where Ohtani's a Padre and Jackson Merrill's an Angel? I don't know if that's the case. But that deal got taken off. I mean, there could be a situation, Frank, you could be living in a world where Ohtani's still a Dodger after playing for the Padres for a half a season or a season and a half, whatever it is, and Jackson Merrill's in Anaheim right now. Thank God Artie Moreno's, doesn't think the fans up there in Anaheim want to win. Their fifth priority. We're going to talk about that later on. Angels fans, is winning your fifth priority? As a fan, like when you want your favorite team, like what do you want your favorite team? What's the number one priority for your favorite team? Apparently it's not winning, according to Artie Moreno, but I digress there. Padres nearly included Merrill in a potential blockbuster for Shohei Ohtani before Artie Moreno pulled him off the market. Instead, they dealt a similar prospect-heavy package minus Jackson Merrill for Juan Soto, and 3 years later, Soto is gone, Ohtani was never acquired, and Merrill is the long-term cornerstone with a 9-figure extension. Organizational pivot point, the Padres chose youth stability over superstar gamble, at least in this case. They ended up parting ways with C.J. Abrams and kept Jackson Merrill. But now the WBC decision. With multiple Padres leaving for the World Baseball Classic. Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., both representing the Dominican Republic. Xander Bogaerts representing the Netherlands. Mason Miller representing Team USA. Jackson Merrill decided to stay. And that's not saying he's better than those guys in doing this and whatever. I mean, he had to make a tough decision. But his reasoning was he had injuries last year in 2025, hamstring, concussion, ankle. His physical preparation for the season matters to him. His leadership presence matters, and the window to win matters for Jackson Merrill. His quote was, "We're trying to win the World Series." He understands that the WBC is prestigious, but timing matters. His responsibility is here. He's thinking long-term franchise impact at 22. That is a mature individual right there. I mean, that is a guy that you want in this clubhouse. That is a guy you want leading this team in the future. That is a guy that you signed to a long-term contract. That's a big reason why they did. Jackson Merrill could be playing for himself in a sense and going to the WBC and, checking things off of a impressive bucket list. But he's dialed in to being a San Diego Padre and leading this team and understanding the window and putting the Padres first. You don't see that anymore in kids his age. Hardly ever. Do you see that in college right now, Frank? Got anybody doing that at the college level? I mean, this kid is like just older than college now. Well, actually, at this day and age, he probably still could be in college. Ain't nobody doing that in college. Very rarely. And they are a gem. A blessing. A breath of fresh air. That's what Jackson Merrill is. He is a breath of fresh air. He is a guy that puts the organization first, which he doesn't have to. He puts you fans first. He even signed a contract early where he still had opportunity to negotiate. He could have gone through arbitration. He could have waited to free agency like a lot of these players and made a hell of a lot more money than he is scheduled to make in the next 7-8 years. But you know what he said? It doesn't change my life. I got what is fair, and I'm here to win. That's a guy you build a franchise around. I mean, think about him thinking long-term franchise impact at just 22 years old. How can you not love Jackson Merrill? The 2026 window for the Padres. Machado's turning 34. Bogarts will be 34 in October. Joe Musgrove has got to be 33. He's returning from Tommy John surgery. Nick Pivetta can opt out after the season. Potential labor stoppage in 2027. Franchise approaching a sale. This is not an open-ended window for the San Diego Padres. It's one that's tightening a little bit. Jackson Merrill, he's 22 years old. He's already an all-star. He's runner-up for Rookie of the Year in 2024. Under contract long-term. He's the bridge between the eras. And he understands that this is the best chance that the Padres have in this era of baseball, this era of the team, to win. And he's not going to sacrifice that to go play in the WBC. I applaud that. I really do. I'd love to see him in the WBC. I'd love to see him representing Team USA. But he leads by his work ethic. He's an action-first guy. He avoids over-talking. He observes the veterans first, but he's growing. He's hosting gatherings of his own. He's promoting team bonding. He's emulating Joe Musgrove's off-field leadership. And a couple of examples of that. He created a T-shirt poking fun at Gavin Sheets' outfield wall collision. Humor as a culture builder. And he gets the veteran endorsements. Gavin Sheets says that's who you build a franchise around. Did we not? I mean, we're on it. Joe Musgrove, leadership is about consistency and impact. Merrill has both. The next step, becoming more vocal and owning the room when needed. For every time that people say that the Padres window is closing, we mentioned that it's closing a little bit with this era of Xander and Manny. It gets open very quickly with a guy like Jackson Merrill, who this organization should never let leave because he's got to get another contract at the end of this deal. It's down the road. It's 9 years down the road. But anybody that's afraid about the future of the Padres, look to Jackson Merrill and understand that guy's taking over the clubhouse. That guy is taking over the franchise. That guy is becoming the new face of the Padres organization. He's not stepping on anybody's toes. He's not jumping in front of anybody. He's still waiting his turn, but he is slowly starting to lead this team at age 22 and lead it in the right direction and use the positive examples that were laid in front of him with San Diego and Joe Musgrove. And the Padres are in really good hands. Really good hands. In terms of the WBC and the impact that it has, I mean, Dennis Lin kind of lays out a little bit of what the problem was in 2023. It's a lesson learned, obviously. Multiple Padres left for the WBC in 2023, and the team had one of the most disappointing seasons in franchise history. No one really blames the WBC outright, but the emotional dip afterward was a real one. And Craig Stammen's main concern is the WBC players return from a mountaintop of exciting baseball and they get to spring training. They get back to spring training and it's a massive letdown. Energy drop off, very natural. So the solution, Pivetta not playing for Team Canada. He's locked into staying with the Padres. Joe Musgrove not participating, obviously. I don't know if he got an invite or not, but he's representing the leadership here in San Diego as well. He stays. Gavin Sheets, veteran presence, he's staying. Jackson Merrill is that young player that turned down an opportunity to represent Team USA for the betterment of the Padres. Those four players must stabilize that emotional baseline for when players come back from the WBC and keep things going in camp. This is an article by Dennis Lin that I thought was great. It talks about the window urgency. It talks about the identity of the Padres. It talks about really succession in Jackson Merrill in the Fernando Tatis Jr. era that's going to take over once the Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts era passes. Merrill may be the youngest regular of the group, but he might also be the most important piece. Not just statistically, but from a leadership standpoint, emotionally, and what a franchise can really build around. I thought Dennis Lin did a great job with this article. And Frank, I look at a guy like Jackson Merrill. This is the guy that eventually is going to take over as the main face of this organization.
Yeah, he's the heir apparent right now. And the fact that you have your heir apparent locked down for as long as you do, I think is absolutely fantastic. And you can see it in the times that we've been able to go down in the clubhouse and spend the time looking and watching these guys. You can see that Merrill has that confidence that he can be a leader, that he knows what he can do. Might be a little too rigid at times, but he knows what he can do, and he knows that getting the best out of everyone else is also going to make him better as well. And he's not afraid to ask questions if he needs a tip, if he needs to learn something. He's not afraid to ask those questions either. So yes, Jackson Merrill is the heir apparent, and if that is the case, the Padres are going to be in very, very good hands.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about this all the time with the college players, and you get irritated with the college players and even some of the guys at the top when it comes to the Players Association and being, looking out for themselves. Jackson Merrill might be one of the most selfless players in professional sports right now. I mean, he really might be, and he's young and everything. I just, for his generation, which is, Gen Z, whatever it may be, for a kid from his generation to act so old school and take responsibility and take the leadership of this organization and to have pride in representing the Padres and have pride representing San Diego and to be loyal to this team and this organization, that's a breath of fresh air in this day and age when you see other players his age and older than him in the college level, just being a hired gun. We need more athletes like Jackson Merrill. We really do. It is so great. And when they signed him to the contract extension, it was so great to know that he's going to be part of this organization for a long time. That 9-year contract extension. It's still open for him to sign another one later because by the time it's done, I think he's going to be in his early 30s, right? Like 31 years old. He's not going to be done with baseball at 31 years old. You got to make sure that guy never represents another organization. That's obviously going to be the task of the new ownership at that point in time. And who knows? But Jackson Merrill, as Eric in the chat said, Jackson Merrill's the future of the Padres. And you see it with the decisions that he makes and putting the Padres organization first. We'll talk more about the Padres in just a little bit. Nick Castellanos starting to settle in at first base. What does that mean for the roster? We'll discuss next on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego Summer Sports Station, 97 The Fan. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. Coming up at 1 o'clock, remember to listen for us to announce today's biggest fan for a chance to qualify for a night in our Odyssey suite at a future Padres game with all the fan staff. Register your name at 97 through thefansd.com/biggest fan in order to potentially have your name called. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We're talking Padres baseball today. All day, every day. It's good to have it back. We have Padres baseball starting in about an hour, right? 12 o'clock is when we start the game.
A little bit less than an hour is when the game kicks off. Yeah.
In terms of that, we have a roster out there today. We have the lineup already. Laureano getting the start and batting leadoff. He's playing left field today. Will Wagner bats second and will play second. Tatis batting in the 3 spots, DH today for the Padres. This game in Peoria? Yeah, it is. It's a home game. Miguel Andujar will play third base today and bat fourth. Ty France bats fifth, plays first. Freddie Fermin will catch and bat sixth. Bryce Johnson in center field bats seventh. Mace McCoy will bat eighth and play shortstop. And out in right field and batting ninth is going to be Carlos Rodriguez. So that is the Padres starting 9 today against Jake McGee and the Milwaukee Brewers. JP Sears getting this first start of spring training this afternoon. We'll talk more about Padres baseball in terms of today in just a little bit. Wilbur, let's go. Today's the day. Let's get to the Nick Castellanos experiment. So, Nick Castellanos playing first base for the first time. In the Padres Cactus League opener in Peoria, which we saw on Friday, Castellanos made his first in-game appearance at first base, a position he has never played in a major league game. Though originally slated for limited action, new Padres manager Craig Stammen asked Castellanos to stay in for an extra inning defensively, and the ball found him. Castellanos made 2 impressive plays, including a routine range and flip to reliever Wandy Peralta and a diving stop to end the inning, showcasing his athleticism and comfort at a new position. Why first base? Well, the roster reality for Nick Castellanos, his move is largely about opportunity. Padres are set in right field with Fernando Tatis Jr. and in left field with Ramon Laureano. Gavin Sheets is projected as the primary first baseman, but that leaves Nick Castellanos competing for reps at first base versus left-handed pitching, the designated hitter spot, and maybe some corner outfield on some rest days for other players. The preparation before the deal, Castellanos began working at first base in December, even before his release from the Phillies. Trained in Miami with former Padre Yonder Alonso. How about that? At Padres camp, he immediately worked with infield instructors Ryan Goins and Nick Punto. He described their coaching as a plus and emphasized that they have encouraged him to trust his athleticism rather than become stiff around the bag. He's adjusted his mindset. AJ Cassaville wrote about this on Padres.com. Castellanos says first base helps him stay mentally engaged. He mentioned that constantly anticipating pickoffs, covering bags, and interacting with runners keeps him locked in. He leaned on his background, former shortstop growing up, 500-plus career games at third base. His relationship with the ground ball gives him confidence, but he acknowledges the nuance of the position and the big picture. Ultimately, his playing time will hinge on his offense. He went 0 for 1 with a walk in the opener, but reportedly crushed a double in live BP earlier this week. Stammen praised the defensive progress and work ethic, and Castellanos appears fully bought into a reduced, flexible role compared to his time in Philadelphia, saying he's happy to contribute however is needed. The question is, though, Frank, let's say, because it's all about his offense, right? The Padres brought him in for offense. They didn't bring him in to play defense.
Yes.
They want him to be in the lineup, and the lineup is either DH or first base. Based on some of the athleticism he's already showed at first base, Frank, the question is, if Castellanos hits, is Gavin Sheets out of a job? I think that's an interesting question, and I'd like to answer it in a way that is, I would say, kind of. Because at the end of the day, if Castellanos is doing well where he can play against lefties and righties, and he's good enough defensively to play both, to play first base every day, all of a sudden Gavin Sheets turns into a position. He turns into a spot where he's mostly maybe a DH. I think that's an interesting battle at first base coming up during these next couple of weeks.
I don't think he finds himself out of a spot. I think he won't be the starter if that's the case. I mean, that play, I think it was maybe on like the 4th or 5th inning, that diving stop that he had, that is not a routine play for someone who has played 4 games at first base in their major league career. I mean, that is a difficult play to make, and then have the wherewithal to get up, flip to the pitcher. I mean, he stood in right field for most of it. He's seen how the play is played, but still to be able to do it the way that he did, make the play, and then as he's done it as if he had done it for years, just get up and a casual, nonchalant little flip. That is a very, very good sign. If he's playing defense this well, you're getting a bargain for Nick Castellanos, and I think that would designate Gavin Sheets to the full-time DH, at least against righties.
I still think like it's still going to be somewhat of a platoon deal with the lefty and the righty. And
yes.
if you can work it as a platoon, it makes it even more valuable for Nick Castellanos because, again, you're not paying him to be an everyday starter. You're paying him to get at bats. You're paying him to kind of be back and forth. I mean, he's getting league minimum from you. If he plays above a league minimum player, you're getting massive value for a guy like Nick Castellanos. They're going to need him to be, close to a solid major leaguer. But I think with this competition, and we didn't even talk about Ty France. I mean, Ty France won a Gold Glove last year at first base.
Yep.
He won a Gold Glove. Add him to the mix. The competition is great. Now you got to see it with the bat for all 3 of them. I don't think it's a situation where Gavin Sheets, like if Nick Castellanos plays really well, it's not like Gavin Sheets getting cut. He's going to be on this team. He's too valuable of an asset with the way he played last year, with the fact that he's not getting paid a lot of money either, and he's under contract for a couple of years. That makes it easier. But I think you could see a DH first base platoon out of both of these guys. And, maybe it's a competition for more playing time. Maybe it's a competition for Nick Castellanos is out there on defense more. And he's playing first base a lot more. And maybe it's a sense of like Gavin Sheets has days off against lefties. I mean, if this team does not have to use Gavin Sheets against lefties and you could just utilize Sheets against right-handed pitching, they've shown that they have depth and they show that they could be a big-time player offensively. Because I thought Gavin Sheets did okay against left-handers last year. He still doesn't look very comfortable against a lefty. And if you don't have to force him into the lineup against a left-handed hitter because he is your best option, I think that bodes well for the Padres in terms of lineup makeup.
Yeah, that's what you got Miguel Andujar for.
Exactly. So now you have Miguel Andujar, and if Castellanos plays a good first, you don't have to worry about Andujar playing first base.
Yeah.
He could just fill in sporadically for guys that need a day off, and he could DH. And so now against left-handed pitching, you have Nick Castellanos that can play first base, and Miguel Andujar can DH. Castellanos to get more reps at first base just has to do better than Andujar at first. And Andujar isn't a first baseman. He's a corner outfielder and a third baseman. So, if Nick Castellanos could do anything from a defensive perspective, it's a massive upgrade. And you're getting even more of a steal at first base.
And that's really what you're hoping for. You knew first base was going to be kind of a weak spot, more or less, for this team this year, but to be able to get something like what Nick Castellanos could possibly give you in that spot would be an absolutely huge upgrade from, effectively nothing. So you run with it as long as it goes. Maybe it's somewhere you look to improve at the deadline, possibly. But right now you cannot be upset with what Nick Castellanos has given you so far first.
No, you cannot be upset about it. I think you can have some reasons to be encouraged by this team too. In fact, you can have multiple reasons to be encouraged by this team because they wrote about it. San Diego Union Tribune. We'll talk about it more when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. Standing Summer Sports Station, 97 through the Fan. All guests on 97 through the Fan appear on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking, it's better. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Man, did we have a big weekend in sports this weekend. Fun to watch. We had college basketball in full force as we get closer to March, where things start to mean a little bit more. Obviously, a tough break for the Aztecs as they got smoked by Colorado State. On Saturday, we had Padres baseball. Spring training baseball is back, but we also had a big day for hockey yesterday. Frank, did you get up at 5 a.m. to watch the hockey game?
No, I did not.
Did you watch the highlights after the fact?
I did, yes, I did.
What was your biggest takeaway from the game? I watched overtime. It was a heck of a finish. I love the pageantry at the end was phenomenal for Team USA, but what a hockey game it was.
Yeah, no, it absolutely was. I mean, it's been a long time for the United States. That gold medal that they won at Lake Placid in 1980 was the last time they had done it. Now, as far as the game itself, very close, very back and forth, very U.S.-Canada, very what you expected against between the United States and Canada in a hockey game. I said it that Canada maybe had a little bit more on the line here with this game because there were a lot of guys that were getting older. This might have been their last shot. And they also had a lot of young guys, such as like Macklin Celebrini, who were going to be taking over but weren't there yet. They're still a step below the Connor McDavids of the world. So to see the United States come out and the way they did, and of course the massive, massive save by Connor Hellebuck on Donovan Taves, that is an image that will live for quite a long time as far as United States and Olympic hockey, period. But yeah, it's just a fantastic game overall. Yes, David Vu is right. Canada was the better team, but doesn't really matter when you have a brick wall in net. And that was the one thing that everyone said going into this tournament is if Canada is going to win, their goaltending can't let them down. And Jordan Binnington wasn't bad. Connor Hellebuck was just that much better.
Yeah, he was better. I mean, USA wins Olympic gold, ends Canada's best-on-best reign. And for the first time since 1980, the United States men's hockey team has won Olympic gold, defeating Canada 2-1 in overtime in Milan. Matt Boldy had the first goal in the first goal of the match in the first period. Cale Makar had the second goal in the second period, and then Jack Hughes got it quickly in overtime. To get his fourth goal of the tournament and to win it in overtime. And you look at just that entire moment. It was so great to see. But this wasn't the miracle on ice. I mean, a lot of people want to just quote because, Canada was the favorite and, the Team USA hasn't won since 1980. And so it's like, let's do the easy, it's the miracle on ice. It's not the miracle on ice. NHL All-Stars going against each other. This is not a bunch of college kids that just beat an NHL All-Star team. This is an NHL All-Star team against another NHL All-Star team. Yes, Canada had a better roster on paper, but it's not as big of an upset as it was back in the 80s at Lake Placid when it was a bunch of college kids going against professionals from Russia. It's a little bit different. So as much as you want to say that it's like, it's miracle, and it's not a miracle that they won. Team USA was just as good as Team Canada, maybe just a little bit worse, but they had dudes too. I mean, that's everything you would want to see in an all-star game was Team USA and Team Canada.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really, and it's also something that everyone forgets is that game against the Soviets was not a gold medal game. That was to get to the gold medal game. This was it. This was for all of it. And I again, great for USA hockey to be able to get this done, but no, this is nowhere near the level of the miracle on ice. I'm sorry.
It's not.
It's just not.
You mentioned Hellebuck's all-time performance. I mean, 41 save masterpiece in a game where Canada outshot the United States 42-28. Breakaway denial of McDavid, robbery of Macklin Celebrini, open net stop on Devin Taves. And players called it an all-time performance. I mean, the playoff criticism narrative temporarily erased by doing it at the Olympics.
Yeah, and you also had Nathan McKinnon miss a wide open net too. So the U.S. there was a lot of luck involved in the U.S. win as well. It wasn't just the great goaltending.
Canada's streak ends their dominance on best in best. Hockey is over. Before this, they had gold in Vancouver in 2010, gold in Sochi in 2014. They won the World Cup in 2016 and won the Four Nations title last year. Snapped a 15-game Olympic best on best win streak dating back to 2010. Canada was without Sidney Crosby with his lower body injury and possibly his final Olympics. As well as Josh Morrissey. He was also injured, but they still had McDavid, who's one of the best players in the NHL, best players in the world. Nathan McKinnon, Cale Marker, no excuse roster-wise for Canada yesterday.
No, Makar is seen as one of the best defensive players in the world in the NHL. Nathan McKinnon, him and Makar teammates with the Colorado Avalanche, and Connor McDavid's considered the face of the league. So they took Canada's best shot and still came out with a win.
Taking a look at the culture and chemistry, USA leaned into staying in the Olympic Village, embracing the team chemistry, blending skill with role players. The Kachuk brothers brought edge. Hughes brothers brought star power. Veterans embraced the fourth line and penalty kill roles. It wasn't a miracle. It was a complete roster construction success in Team USA at a high level. And it asked the question, like, why the NHL would ever not want their guys in the Olympics.
Yeah, exactly. And we saw it. We saw it with the Four Nations tournament last year.
Yeah.
That was just a taste for this. And you got not just the men's US versus Canada final in the Olympics. You had the women as well just a couple days before, and the US comes out on top in both in overtime on incredible goals both ways. So it was just an all-around success for the United States in the Olympics in hockey.
And then at the end, the celebration and the photo, and they go, and I was tearing up with the way that thing finished.
Yeah, if I'm a member of Team Canada, like, I know the plushie is a gimmick. Don't give me that. It's not going to go well. Like, everyone, I believe they had everyone get a plushie. No, I'm sorry. You can hold on to that for
the stuffed animal.
Yeah, you can hold on to that. You can mail it to me. I'm not doing that right now because it's not going to end well for said plushie.
Yeah, and you know, when you look at the finish, and they brought out Johnny Gaudreau's children,
yes,
to be part of the team photo with the gold medals, and they held up the Gaudreau jersey. I mean, that was a moment where I was, like I said, I was choked up,
yeah,
and in tears about what a moment in sports.
Yeah, 100%, absolutely.
I mean, what a moment in sports, and they kept the Gaudreau jersey. They get because he was part of this team, Team USA, and that moment with his young daughter and son being held by the Team USA players for the picture is something that you'll never forget in sports. I mean, this is what brings people together. I thought the final unscripted, no teleprompter finish of the Olympics signing off by Mike Tirico was phenomenal.
I honestly did not hear that.
That was amazing. It was an amazing deal to talk about bringing the country together in sports and getting everybody, you know, what sports does for this country.
Yeah.
And you saw those human moments in that game. And that's why it was hard to watch because it was so amazing, right? I mean, I had tears on my face watching the Gaudreau kids be part of Team USA's photo at the end. I mean, it was really remarkable. It was really cool. And I thought Mike Tirico's farewell was amazing to end the Olympics. I mean, this is what sports are all about. This is what was great. And I thought overall the Olympics was great. Team USA at a record-setting performance in the Winter Olympics for medals. Norway ends up winning the medal count. Team USA right there in second at a lot of golds, but gotta love the performance yesterday in hockey. A very, very touching story.
Absolutely, 100%.
A lot of other stories going on in sports. Let's get to the sports thread.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk. Brought to you by QC Kinetics. Stop sitting on the sidelines. QC Kinetics gets you back in the game without surgery. To learn how, visit QCkinetics.com.
All right, Frank, what do we got today?
All right, we got a couple of interesting stories here today.
Number 1.
Better than the boring stories you bring up.
A couple of weeks ago, we had discussed Trinidad Chambliss getting his eligibility extended. A Tennessee judge has denied quarterback Joey Aguilar's request for a preliminary injunction to gain another year of eligibility.
Must not be a Vanderbilt grad.
Effectively ending his college career and delivering a major win for the NCAA in its ongoing battles over the eligibility rules. Aguilar, 24, argued that his 2 junior college seasons should not count against his 4-year Division I eligibility after playing at Diablo Valley Community College, Appalachian State, and then Tennessee, where he threw for 3,565 yards and 24 touchdowns last year. But the court rejected his bid despite a prior temporary restraining order, leaving the Volunteers without a clear starting quarterback, and Aguilar now turning his focus to the NFL Combine. Should junior college seasons count against D1 eligibility, or is the NCAA holding firm to protect competitive balance, which is hilarious to say?
It should count. It's college. It should count towards your eligibility.
It's always counting.
Why are we doing the BYU going on a mission and leave for 2 years and then come back as a fully developed man? Why? I mean, what are we doing? You have 4 years. 5 years to play 4, whatever the rule is now. That's it. Now you make money, so it's like, I don't want to stay. I'm not good enough to play in the NFL. These guys weren't even good enough to make money. And that's why they had to stay in college. That's why they fought for the money thing, because they knew they were going to make the big money in the pros. You were supposed to get better at your craft, pay your dues, get reward in the pros. But then all these people thought that they were better than everybody else. And then it was like, what happened? I spent my entire life playing football. What do you mean I wasn't good enough? Where's my money? Sorry, dude. You're not good enough. Get out. Graduate. It's like the forever college students. What degree are you working for this time? Go get a job. Go get a job. Enough. JC counts. Junior college counts. There's no junior college slander here. I went to junior college. It counts. You're in college. You get a free pass because you went to JC. I didn't get 4 years at D1. This is unfair. No, it's not. Be better. Play better. Whatever happened to that? I'm tired of this crap. Be better. It's not hard. Not hard.
It's really not. It's really not hard.
Number 2.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver told general managers that the league will implement anti-tanking rule changes beginning next season after intensified All-Star break discussions about competitive integrity, with 7 potential proposals under review, including flattening lottery odds, preventing teams from picking in the top 4 in consecutive years, freezing lottery odds at the trade deadline, tying odds to 2-year records, limiting protections on first-round picks, expanding the lottery to play-in teams, and barring recent conference finalists from landing a pick in the top 4. All aimed at reducing incentives to intentionally lose, as recent fines to the Utah Jazz and Indiana Pacers for lineup decisions and public calls for reform from figures such as Mike Ashiba and advisor Mike Krzyzewski underscored growing concern that the current draft system encourages blatant tanking. Which proposed changes would most effectively curb the tanking without punishing legitimately rebuilding teams?
All right. So what were they again, real quick?
Freezing lottery odds,
Okay.
flattening lottery odds, preventing teams from picking in the top 4 in consecutive season, freezing the odds at the deadline, tying odds to 2-year records, limiting protections on first-round picks, expanding the lottery to play-in teams, and barring recent conference finalists from landing in the top 4.
I think the not being able to pick in the top 4 2 years in a row is
Would
probably
be
fair.
huge. Yeah,
Top 5. Make
big.
it top 5.
Yeah, I
You pick
agree.
in the top 5, can't pick in the top 5 next year. So, you know what? You tank the 1 year, you get a top 5 pick, and then you better turn things around very quickly.
Also on here was Reese Hoskins got picked up by the Cleveland Guardians.
Yeah, that happened last night.
Yes, that would be
Minor league deal. Surprised by
Yes,
that.
it was.
Super surprised by
I
that.
think 1.5, I think it was, if he gets called up.
All right. Reason to be excited for the Padres season. It was laid out in the UT. What did they say? Do we agree with it? We'll talk about it at noon.
San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime use.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
We haven't talked too much Aztec basketball today. We can get to that later. Some people were upset about the 3 thoughts that Mark Ziegler had in today's paper. 3 thoughts: Colorado State 83, San Diego State 74, the impending exodus, the Guath conundrum, and USD question mark. I had buddies text me like that are Aztec fans so upset about that piece. I just read through it. I don't know what's upsetting about it. It's factual. Welcome to the realities of college athletics. It's factual. Number one takeaway from Mark Ziegler was the impending exodus. Hey, in this day and age of college athletics, yeah, I would expect a lot of players might be leaving San Diego State. That's not, 1, surprising to me, or 2, insulting. That's just the fact of the matter. They got 3 seniors that aren't going to come back. They got 3 guys that are expected to come back. And then they have about 8 players that you have no idea if they're going to come back or not. And if you think those conversations just happened in April, I got news for you. Those conversations are happening now. Mark Ziegler knows what he's doing. He knows what's going on with Aztecs basketball. There's quotes from Brian Dutcher. Like, they all got agents. They're working about like trying to find their new spots. They got to try to manage that right now. Welcome to college basketball. Thought number 2 was on Magoon Guath. I mean, he's been so up and down. I mean, he's just like, it's just unfortunate that he's been beat up with injuries. Also not unfactual. And then number 3, which I think really upset them, was the whole like, don't sleep on USD. I got news for you. Don't sleep on USD. They hire one coach and invest money, they could catch San Diego State fast. That's what works in college athletics. It's not crazy to see. We'll take a deeper dive into that later. I mean, but it doesn't take a lot in college basketball to become good. Not when you got money. USD's a private school. If they want to put a bunch of resources into basketball, they can. They go get the right coach and they spend a lot of money on players. They're going to be good. UCSD got good overnight. And then some of their players left and they've been struggling a little bit. They just beat Irvine over the weekend, though. If you have money and your alumni wants to spend money, you are going to be good at college basketball. It's factual. I have to know it upset them so much. It is factual. We'll talk more about that later on. Reasons for optimism for the Padres. Why you should be encouraged by the 2026 Padres. It's an interesting piece in the San Diego Union Tribune by Tom Krasovic. He is the columnist for the San Diego Union Tribune. And I think he lays out a lot of good things, a lot of important things to look at. And we're going to take a deeper dive into this and really have a conversation about reasons to be optimistic. I mean, just from the get-go, I could tell you that the Padres, in the way that they built their team, they're a team that could, they're built to potentially win 90 games. I don't know what the projections are from the nerds. It doesn't make any sense to me, but they obviously know something we don't, or they don't because their projections last year weren't very good across the board. But you look at the way that this team was assembled last year, or this year, I should say. they are really built to have a good year. Are they built to win it all? I think that remains to be a question. But the core identity of this team for the Padres, they're steady, smart, battle-tested. They have veteran core players. The 2026 Padres are being framed as a veteran, fundamentally sound team that won't beat itself. I would agree with that statement. I would rather roll with some, I mean, you want some young guys mixed in, but you got veteran players that have been there and done that before. Manny Machado is one of the game's smartest situational players. Xander Bogaerts is a very heads-up player. Jake Cronenworth, this nucleus has playoff experience and near playoff runs together already. And then you add some other players that have also made playoff runs. That veteran presence means a lot. Now, yeah, there are question marks about this team. We know that. You're taking a risk on a lot of players. But last season, they won 90 games. They had elite defense, top 3 in turning balls in play into outs, second best run prevention in Major League Baseball, and won games despite a power-deficient offense, which I think has slightly improved. Now, you got a new coaching situation for the Padres. You're going to go from Mike Schilt, who had set the tone of detail, preparation during his tenure. His teams historically made the playoffs when he managed full seasons. And now to Craig Stammen, who inherits a culture built on preparation and accountability. The learning curve for Stammen is softened because the clubhouse already understands how to win close games. It's not going to be that big of a transition. It's not like Craig Stammen is taking over a bad team. He's taking over a really good team with core leadership. And most of the times when guys are taking over new baseball teams, those teams have a lot of issues. And that's the reason why he's getting hired, right? I mean, like, most times, would you say, Frank, when a manager gets hired, it's because the guy before was a disaster? That's usually what happens in professional baseball. It's not like college football or college athletics where the guy got a better job. You don't see that a lot. Or a guy retires, whatever that means. He takes over a team that has been there, that has done that have a good culture, have good players, good mindset. He doesn't have to start from scratch. He gets to pick up where they left off. I think that's a huge add for this team. But the expectation, winning season, likely. Championship, that seems to be the big question. The Padres are projected to slightly edge the Diamondbacks and the Giants in a wild card race, depending on what nerd you talk to. But being pretty good won't be enough. It will take 11 to 13 postseason wins, obviously, to win a title. And that requires greatness, not just steadiness. We're going to talk about the player storylines in a second. But overall, the way the team is built, yes, there's question marks, but there is also that veteran presence. In college right now, Frank, teams are trying to get older because it makes a huge difference. And in Major League Baseball, I mean, I know nobody wants to look at the Dodgers. They don't have a lot of young players. They got older players that have been there and done that before. And the older players of the Padres, they're not 38, 39, and 40. They're still in their mid to younger 30s. That is a big difference. They still have talent. They still have the ability to win, but they have the experience now. And they don't have players that are trying to learn on the fly, right?
Yeah.
This is a big selling point, I think, to why the Padres are going to be good, why you should be optimistic. Just look at the culture of the team and look at what they've added. I like having veteran players that have been there and done that. This is something that the Padres haven't added going into a season. They've usually added guys that are trying to stay in the league, not players that are veteran, everyday players in Major League Baseball.
Oh, look what we just got pop up on our television.
Hopefully it doesn't get like a blackout.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, because I was not expecting that, but
doesn't look like it's changing either.
No, it does not. Padre baseball getting set to go from Peoria, Arizona.
I don't think they could black out the games if they're like these glorified stream games.
Yeah, we saw the watched a couple games.
They're home, right? So yeah, they're in Peoria, so they get
So
it's the Padres broadcast. Yeah, interesting.
Fun to see. But anyway, no, you're not only talking about, hold on, we got to Squirrel. Not only are we not talking about guys that have been there and done that, we're also talking about guys that have been there and done that and still have time. They still are able to play. They're still young enough to be able to go and help their team help the team if need be. So that's also another big change that we've seen out of the Padres here this offseason is yes, they have gone for a lot of the they've gone for younger players, but they've also gone for players that are they're old enough to have that experience without being in the twilight of their careers.
Yeah, that's the best part about this entire breakdown of this roster. I mean, again, reasons to be optimistic. I don't know why I have to try to sell it because I think the team's going to be fine. I think the team's going to be good, and I think the team's going to add pieces later. I like the veteran players that they added right now. I mean, you got guys competing. I'd like to see JP Sears have a good outing today as they just got underway against the Brewers. We'll keep you updated on what's going on with the Padres.
It'll be easier now that we are actually able to see it. We were not anticipating that.
Well, I was going to make you put on Padres.tv on your computer over there. Slow all the production down.
Yeah, slow everything I'm doing down. Yep.
So we'll keep you updated on what the Padres are doing today. Again, they're playing the Brewers. They are the home team. JP Sears getting his first start of spring training. He's another guy. I'd like to see the account that was talking about the demons the Padres have. I'd love to see the metrics of JP Sears today. Yeah. So far, not throwing a lot of strikes, but counts worked full. But anyway, the metrics of the team, great. In terms of how they built the team. What are the key storylines, players individually, and why they give you a reason for optimism? We'll talk about that when we come back from break on the Braden Surprenant Show, standing as on Sports Station 97 through the Fan.
Jack here with the sound of a freshly cracked egg.
Not a great start for JP Sears. JP gives up a 2-run bomb to left early. He got the first guy out, and then
That was Andrew Vaughn, I believe, was the one that gave it.
It was. So he got Jackson Merrill to ground out to Miguel Andujar for the first out. Joey Ortiz then singled on a line drive right back to JP Sears, and then Andrew Vaughn homered to left. It's 2-0 Brewers. JP kind of leaving things over the heart of the plate. Fastball coming in around 92, 93, it looks like, on some of the metrics from the MLB.com. So Padres down 2-0, top of the first inning. We'll keep you updated on that as it goes about. We're giving you reasons to be optimistic about the Padres. I don't know why we have to come up with that, because of course there's reasons to be optimistic about the Padres. Looking at that, 2-run lead, probably not. But, again, don't look at the
spring training
results.
for everybody.
Spring training, man. Spring training.
Meanwhile, on the other TV, Everton playing Manchester United, no
Nobody
score.
cares.
That is a game you do have to worry about the result of.
Oh, it actually counts?
That is regular season, yes.
Okay.
That was the point of bringing that up. A regular season on one TV, spring training on the other. One game
What do you
matters,
think
the other one doesn't.
Dave Marcus is watching more of right now?
He is watching the Manchester United versus Everton game, period. He sees none of what is happening in front of him unless he hears a key word from Jesse or Tony.
Gary Sanchez has got hit by a pitch. Not looking great for JP right now.
Right on the top of the back foot.
Not looking great for JP. I will say it is the lunchtime hour. So, and by the way, it's Lent for the Catholics out there. And for anybody that's not Catholic, I can tell you it's easy to find out when it's Lent, because every one of your restaurants, every fast food restaurant comes up with some type of fish product. Do you think it's just a coincidence it all happens in March? Is March the big, March, February, April? Is it because of that, or is it because is that when fish is popular?
I am hoping. Now, this is just me being selfish here, but I am hoping that it is not fish, so this way I can sue and get a bunch of money. Class action lawsuit time.
I'm not allowed to have meat on Fridays, and I thought it was fish and not meat, and so now I get a lot of money. Well, I have to say, one of my boys texted me, and he had to go try this play. He had to go try this particular deal. It looks disgustingly delicious. So, you get the fillet of fish, right? What's on a fillet of fish, Frank?
Fish.
Tartar sauce.
A fillet of it.
Okay, so you don't dabble in the fillet of fish.
I do not.
Fillet of fish is tartar sauce, a piece of fish, whatever type of fish it is. Maybe it's cod, maybe it's not. It's a fish stick sandwich, basically. Fish patty,
deep
fried fish patty, and a slice of American cheese. A lot of restaurants try to copy the fillet of fish, but you know what? I think like some places can't do a sandwich. Some places do something else. What about Wiener Schnitzel? You ever been a Wiener Schnitzel?
I have, yes.
Wiener Schnitzel has their own version of a fillet of fish. It is called a sea dog. It is exactly what you think it would be. It is a fish stick in a hot dog bun with tartar sauce and a slice of American cheese.
The slice of American cheese hanging over the side like it's a towel hung out to dry. Not the greatest thing they could have gone with.
I don't understand the point of like the half sliced cheese over the bun and not completely over the fish. I feel like that'd probably be better.
Well, then you couldn't see the dust fish.
I mean, you would just see that you would see it at the end. It's a fish dog, Rod. It's called a sea dog, man. We might have to do a food review of the sea dog. I'd get one. I'd try it. 100% try it.
See, you said we there. I'm going to steal one of your lines. Do you have a mouse in your pocket?
No, you're going to have one of these unless you're allergic to fish.
Rear end.
I had a buddy had it over the weekend. He said it was not bad. They kind of went overboard with the tartar sauce.
If anything, I'll get it without the tartar sauce.
You got to get it the way it comes.
I don't care, dude.
Otherwise, you can't do the...
What about Arby's?
I don't know what Arby's has. I don't think Arby's has a Sea Dog. I'd get one of these for sure. I would totally try it. I can't tell you where a Wiener Schnitzel is, though, because all of the ones in San Diego that I knew of are no longer there.
There's one on Palm Avenue way down in Imperial Beach. It's like not far away from the Split. If you know where the Soapy Joe's on Palm Avenue in Imperial Beach is, it's not that far away from that.
I got a... Oh, there's one over in Kearney Mesa. That's not too far. Oh, never mind. I don't know if that's actually a Wiener Schnitzel or not because they list Lazy Dog as a Wiener Schnitzel, which is definitely not the case. They have one not too far from us off Balboa. I didn't know they had one over there. Convoy and Balboa. I'm gonna have to try. I gotta try one of these things because the one I knew about in PB is gone. The one I knew about in Poway is gone. I think they still got them in El Cajon. El Cajon's got 3 Wiener Schnitzels. Oh, yeah, the one in Casa de Oro. I've seen that one a lot. Apparently, they got one in Oceanside. Jocelyn knew where it was.
There's 2 in Oceanside.
2 in, wow. Oceanside, living large in the Sea Dog. There's one in Escondido, it looks like, too. I got to try one of these Sea Dogs. It looks pretty good. Disgustingly delicious. There's such thing as disgustingly delicious. I would list some things from Arby's on the disgustingly delicious options.
Okay.
Nate says there's definitely one on Convoy. I'm not going to burn my fish intake on a non-Lent fish day, just Fridays in Lent. So maybe Friday before I head to USD versus Michigan, I stop by Wiener Schnitzel and get a fish dog. Just to try it over on Convoy. Anybody else want to try a Sea Dog? Slice of American cheese over a hot dog bun with the tartar sauce and a fish stick. Disgustingly delicious. Give me some. What else do you think would be disgustingly delicious?
I
think a beef and ched at Arby's is disgustingly delicious. It looks disgusting, yet it tastes delicious. The JP Sears it's not looking better.
Thank you, JP Sears, for saving me from this conversation.
Rod's going to try the Sea Dog. I love it. He just said that should be illegal. Now he's going to try one. Arby's has a crispy fish sandwich. I mean, I feel like everybody's got a fish sandwich. But
Yeah,
like
you got
disgustingly delicious, there's a lot of things out there that are disgustingly delicious. They look so gross, but they actually taste good. I would define Del Taco as a place that's disgustingly delicious.
Oh, it's even worse. Loriano slipped on the warning track.
As long as he's not hurt, I don't
Yeah,
really
no,
care.
he's not. He's fine.
It's 4-0 Brewers top of the first inning.
And that is all for
JP Sears goes
JP
2/3
Sears.
of an inning. Well, that's not great. Travis Gundy, gonna try the Sea Dog.
Hey, why not? He's in.
Why not? Buy stock in Wiener Schnitzel now, apparently. Sea Dog. I'm about to try that on Friday.
Buy stock at MLB.tv too, because this is apparently, from what we found out during the break, they just heard all of this.
I don't know if they did or not. I don't know if they flipped it back over to. It could be a timing thing for flipping it back over to the Padre game. I would be really upset, though, if I tuned in and I'm not, in San Diego, and I tuned in to listen to Padres baseball and I listened to Yahoo's talking about a fish stick in a hot dog bun with a slice of American cheese and tartar sauce.
It's called quality content is what that is.
I have to say, isn't that Wiener Schnitzel in general disgustinging delicious?
Oh, I was going to say quality content. That's not what I would consider.
No, that's
that.
not. No, definitely not. Definitely not. I'm trying to think what else is disgustingly delicious. There's something. You know what? You know what I don't mind eating that people are gonna throw up when I say I've had before.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna think it's disgusting. You know what? It's a guilty pleasure of mine. I don't mind it. I think it's disgustingly delicious.
Right.
Canned Vienna sausages. So disgusting, they're good. I could just open the can and down all of them. I don't need them anymore because Well, one, I never bought them. My grandmother used to have those. It'd be a good snack. I didn't even want to look at what the ingredients of that thing is.
One thing,
disgustingly delicious. You could get a gigantic pack of those at Costco. Nacho cheese, disgustingly delicious. I would agree with Jocelyn on that.
One thing that my mother and brother love for some ungodly reason is Boar's Head bologna with the squirt cheese on it.
I'm sorry.
With a pickle wrapped in it.
Please don't use squirt and then anything on top of a food item. Use a different definition.
Phrasing?
That's disgusting.
The spray cheese. Is that,
that
God. Better?
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, okay. So then just, the can of cheese with a wrapped around a pickle. My mom and brother, for some reason,
Cheese Whiz is gross.
Do like that.
Cheese Whiz is gross.
No, not the Cheese Whiz, not the one that comes in a jar.
I know Cheese Whiz is gross, and so is spray cheese. Spray cheese is disgusting. When you put that on crackers and stuff, they put it on a pickle.
Ritz crack. Yeah, they put it on Boar's Head bologna and wrap it around a pickle.
That sounds disgustingly delicious. I feel like it probably tastes pretty good.
That's the only thing I'm sorry, Nate. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
Leaning Tower of Cheese. Spray cheese. Gross. I mean, I could come up with some pretty gross things that taste pretty good. You know what else is disgusting? I don't want to. We have a loyal listening audience in East County. My family's from East County, so I feel like I can use this in somewhat of a derogatory term. They would come up with many interesting meals. An East County staple. Have you ever heard of East County cheesecake?
No.
You put cream cheese on a graham cracker and then put like strawberry jam on top. East County cream cheese. East County cheesecake. I think my parents probably, or my dad probably coined that phrase himself. I don't think a lot of people in East County eat that, but I heard it's delicious. Disgustingly delicious. You know what else is disgustingly delicious?
So it's sour cream. It's cream cheese on like a Ritz cracker with like some jelly on it.
Yeah.
That actually doesn't sound too bad.
Doesn't sound too bad.
It's
not bad. The other thing too that my dad used to have as a meal is disgustingly delicious. You take a hot dog. Back to the hot dog conversation. You take by the way, I feel so bad for the people that are trying to listen to the Padres game right now because MLB.com is having an issue. You get to listen to this disgusting food conversation while JP Sears gives up 4 runs and gets removed in the first inning.
We picked a hell of a segment to try to reel in a national audience.
I mean, it's mostly local people anyway. But here's what my dad used to, he hasn't made it in a long time. You take a hot dog, you cut it long ways so it folds open. So you got right? And then you take mashed potatoes and you plop mashed potatoes on it. And then you throw 2 slices of American cheese on the mashed potatoes, microwave it so it melts on the mashed potatoes. There's a meal for you. Disgustingly delicious.
Okay.
Do you like mashed potatoes?
Yeah.
Come on. Like it's disgustingly delicious. I think there's a category of food that people know looks disgusting, and then they eat it and they go like, that's not bad. I feel like there's a lot of foods in that category.
What's that one thing that I've seen?
Sea dog is one of them.
What's that one thing I've seen from Texas? Like you get like a bag of chips. You don't open it from the top like a normal person. You like cut it down the side. Or you like crunch them up. You open it from the side and then you put like cheese and other stuff in there, like chili, and like you mix it all up together. Because I've seen that before.
Nick DiNucci was texting me saying I work up in Lakeside, so he's going to try the East County cheesecake. He loves it. So it distracted me. Jack in the Box tacos. Yeah. That is a great description of disgustingly delicious. I can eat 100 of those. I don't care. It's not. I don't care what that meat is. Tofu, whatever. That is with the slice of American cheese on the side.
It's playing the part.
It plays. That plays. Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box has a ton of the disgustingly delicious items. Why and on God's green earth would you go to Jack in the Box to get an egg roll? That makes no sense to me. But you know what?
Yeah,
It's good.
I never got that.
Jalapeno popper. They got all of those little the munchie meals. Are you kidding me?
They're called jalapeno poppers. Let's get it right here. Let's pronounce it correctly.
You already piss people off with your grammar usage. I'm not letting you say jalapenos.
No,
jalapenos. I'm not going to let you say that. No. You could get the and thing. The and thing's fine. Okay. The and bit is fine. Jalapenos in San Diego, dude, you're going to have people with pitchforks and torches coming to this place. No, let's not do that. That's where I draw a line in the sand.
And jalapeno.
Foul. Foul.
He draws the foul.
When I was in college at U of A, that's when the Munchie Meals came out. I thought the Munchie Meals was strictly for Tucson because of being located to Arizona. I didn't realize because it was they launched it, didn't have it in San Diego, launched it when I got to Tucson, literally thought it was just like a college thing because they had loaded nuggets, disgustingly delicious. They don't have loaded nuggets as a Munchie Meal.
What were on them?
OG loaded nuggets. They had it was the chicken nuggets. They had this weird like white gravy. They had cheddar cheese melted on top, bacon bits and stuff.
Okay.
Over their chicken nuggets for a Munchie Meal with halvesy fries and the 2 Jack in the Box tacos. Are you kidding me? For a college kid? Plus, at that point in time,
what else do you need?
Plus, at that point in time, if Arizona basketball scored like 90 points, you got 2 free tacos. And that was when Arizona basketball was like they're always legit, but they were beating everybody by like 100 points. That team was loaded. We were going to Jack in the Box a lot. The loaded nuggets. It is a disgustingly delicious item. I think a lot of people that have the munchies come up with disgustingly delicious food.
Yeah, because you got to put a bunch of stuff together.
Carl's Jr. has a breakfast. You know what else is like fat? You ever have Fat Sal's?
No.
Oh my God. Talk about disgusting, delicious food. I tried Fat Sal's. We got to take a break. I tried Fat Sal's when USD played UCLA last year because they have Fat Sal's in LA. It's a fat sandwich. I guess that's popular on the East Coast. Do you know about those?
No.
You literally just put a bunch of crap in a bread.
Oh.
I can tell you that some of the menu items. I
That's
had
called lunch.
It was. I'm telling like the sandwich is like chicken strips, mozzarella sticks, onion rings smothered in gravy in a sandwich like that. That's like and it's massive.
That's called lunch, is what that is.
Oh my God! Do you want to know what's? I'll tell you what some of those menu items are when we come back. We also got to talk about Padres baseball. Reason for optimism, individual player storylines. We'll talk about that when we come back. Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Sports Station 97 through the Fan. Rod's wondering if they think they got a Sea Dog at Point Loomis Seafood. I don't know. It's a good question. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you walk into Point Loomis Seafood, it's a great establishment, and you ask for them to put a fish stick in a hot dog bun and put a slice of American cheese and tartar sauce on it, they'd probably tell you to get out. Door.
That, or they'd be like,
there's a Mitch Hedberg joke in there somewhere.
There's an idea.
There's a Mitch Hedberg joke in there somewhere. I'm not making a banana bread cottage cheese pastrami sandwich. Get the out. I talked about the Fat Sal's thing. Or they have like these milkshakes that are ridiculous. I mean, if you go to Fat Sal's and you eat one thing, you're probably going to have enough calories for the entire month. I'm now hungry, which makes this even worse. But like, this is like the Fat Sal sandwich, Frank. Got this?
Yeah.
Thinly sliced ribeye steak, mozzarella sticks, onion rings, fries, brown gravy, mayo on a garlic hero.
Hell yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is just so much. It's just a bunch of crap in a hero. They got Harlem chopped cheese, which is ground beef, sauteed onions, and American cheese. Onion rings, pickles, shredded lettuce, tomatoes, fries, ketchup, mayo on a butter grilled hero. How about this one for you? Frankie cutlets. Chicken cutlet, mozzarella sticks, Parmesan truffle fries, ricotta basil spread, vodka sauce, and a garlic hero. I'm just telling you, like, it's just a bunch of stuff.
Where is this, out of curiosity?
It's Fat Sal's.
Where?
They got them in L.A. I don't know if we have one down here. They got a Fat Bruin for the UCLA Bruins. Cheeseburger.
I'll be right back.
Chili, crispy bacon, onion rings, fried egg, fries, garlic aioli, ketchup on a hero.
I'll be right back. I'm going to drive to LA real quick for a completely unrelated reason.
What about a Fat Buffalo? Ready for the Fat Buffalo? Before we talk about the Padres?
Go for it.
Chicken fingers, mozz sticks, melted cheddar, fries, buffalo hot sauce, blue cheese dressing on a hero.
Nice.
They got a fat breakfast, Frank. Fried eggs, ham, crispy bacon, breakfast sausage, mozzarella sticks, melted American cheese, tots, ketchup on a butter grilled hero. Also a little tapatio on there. You all right, buddy?
I'll be back.
I'm not going to see Frank for 4 days because he's going to eat one of those. He's going to die. And then he'll be resurrected by the smell of mortadella. And they'll be back. So it'll be a couple days. Kyle's going to have to work a double duty. Double shift, if you will. Okay, we talked about some reasons to be encouraged by the Padres, part 1. We have reasons for to be encouraged about the Padres, part 2. Key player storylines. A lot of these come with question marks. Well, let's discuss. That sounds like a heart attack. Yeah, that's what you should not eat. Things like that, Nate. Probably not great. I think if you have one of those sandwiches, Nate, I think your insurance goes up immediately. It's like getting a ticket and your car insurance goes up. If your medical insurance sees you walking in a Fat Sal's, violation. Strike 1. You eat something, hard inquiry on the driving report. Joe Musgrove has come back. Joe Musgrove threw aggressively in his return from October 2024. Reconstructive elbow surgery. Fastball reportedly touched 94 with strong life. Breaking ball shape looked pretty similar to pre-injury form. If healthy, Joe Musgrove obviously provides high-end 5-inning playoff caliber stretches. Proven October competitor. World Series experience with Houston. That's a reason to be optimistic. Sounds like Joe Musgrove has looked pretty good in bullpens so far, Frank.
Yeah, great. I mean, that's a fantastic sign, and you don't want it to go too crazy, but you know, if he's able to go, let the pony run.
Fernando Tatis Jr.'s evolution. You can talk about what you want, like discussing the Tatis situation with how things went last year, right? You can mention like he didn't get protection. You can mention that, you know, he didn't have the power numbers you're used to seeing. But I will say this. I think he improved mightily on his strike zone discipline and his walk rate. I mean, it's just he did it statistically. If mechanics stay consistent and maybe in a different spot in the order, he could have a very strong offensive season to follow. I mean, his maturity as a hitter may matter more than just the raw talent. We know he's got the talent, but I think he's developed to be a very much overall hitter for the Padres. And I think last year really helped out with his overall approach and him developing as a even better major league hitter. You throw that in with some of the power numbers that he has had in the past and maybe put him in a better spot where he has protection in the lineup. Fernando could have a big year, Frank, and I think that also adds to some of the hidden things that are going to make this team have a good year.
Yeah, and he's got the World Baseball Classic too, so he might be into the swing of things a little bit sooner than he normally would be. He's going to have someone who's not going to completely destroy him behind him in the lineup. It would be very, very nice to get one of those vintage Fernando years that we saw him earn his big contract with.
Then you look at the bullpen. But before you look at the bullpen, you look at Jackson Merrill's ceiling. We talked a lot about Jackson Merrill in the second hour, about the leadership, about his maturity, past his age, right? He's just 22. He's already had 2 strong MLB seasons. Even last year, he didn't have that bad of a year last year. Was it up to what he did his rookie year? No. But he dealt with injuries. He has an elite launch angle, sweet spot rate, according to this article by Tom Krasovic. Top tier expected slugging metrics. He had a strong playoff showing against the Cubs, and a power jump could push him towards star territory. The guy that he's 22, he doesn't even have his man strength yet. I mean, wait for him to get bigger, faster, stronger as he develops and gets older. Jackson Merrill is just, again, he is poised to continue to just get better and better and better. And I think that's another big reason, storyline wise, player wise, to be optimistic.
Yeah, especially if he's putting so much focus into being a leader in this clubhouse and not going to the World Baseball Classic in order to do that. I think he is locked in. He's dialed in. He did not have a great year. He was very, very start-stop with the injuries last year. So for Merrill, this could be a very, very good year for him.
The last one, too, is the bullpen. Jason Adam returning from his quad injury. Potential dominant trio of Miller, Morejon, and Adam. The rotation's got a good backbone with King, Pivetta, and Musgrove. AJ Preller still expected to be aggressive at the trade deadline. Farm system is widely considered thin, but the roster age and payroll commitment signal win now. And the Padres have a lot of upside where they can win now with the roster they constructed. And you look at the players of this team and the upside of a lot of these players. I think a lot of the metrics and stuff are overlooking a lot of the key individual aspects that make a team good when it comes to the Padres, Frank.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen some of these guys, we talked about it earlier in the show, like a guy like Ron Marinaccio. If he can turn it around and if he can play really, really well here in spring and with his metrics looking the way that they do, he could have a very, very large impact on this bullpen and find some depth that you already had within the organization.
This is a team that I think is going to be, I think they're going to be a lot better than what people think. And I think it's a lot to do with the upside. Now, every single one of these players that we talked about comes with a negative, right? It all comes with a negative. And I just feel like a lot of the metrics and a lot of the places that are doing their projections are looking at the negative side of these things and not a lot of the I don't think it's a fair balance between the positive and the negative, because it's not like everything has to go right for some of these players to have good years. You don't need it to be perfect for Nick Castellanos. You just need him to be competent at first base and put up the numbers that he did last year. The Padres should be in a lot better spot with a guy like Nick Castellanos on the team. I think a lot of it maybe implies the division. I think the over analysis of the Dodgers being in the division, have to play them multiple times, but that's no deterrent for them ranking the Giants and the Diamondbacks very high. I mean, I think there's a lot of things that have made this team better, even though they have the same team coming back. And it's guys like another year of Jackson Merrill with development. It's guys like Fernando Tatis Jr. being in a different spot and maturing as a hitter. It's guys like Manny Machado and Xander Bogaerts in their prime, right? I mean, this is a lot of different things that are going to factor in for the Padres this year. And the key storylines for the players are going to be open. I think competition is going to drive it too. I think competition's huge for this Padres team. I really do. And right now, I mean, tough start for JP Sears, but he's got to be, I mean, it's got to be a situation where they're going to have to, he's going to have to compete to make this roster. Opens up the door for somebody else. So right now, as you look at like the starting rotation depth spots, Matt Waldron's leading the way with the opportunity. Matt Waldron looked pretty good the other day. His fastball's up. The knuckleball looked really good. He took a step in the right direction. JP Sears, tough one today. JP Sears finishes the day, as we mentioned, 2/3 of an inning, 4 earned runs, 4 hits, 1 home run. Not great. Tristan McKenzie yesterday did not look great for the Padres. All the bullpen guys look pretty solid. David Morgan just threw an inning, had a strikeout. Mason Miller is now in the pitch for the San Diego Padres. I mean, he's looked really good too. But the Padres bullpen's been outstanding, and they got a lot of great options out there and a lot of great opportunities for guys to seize positions. I think the biggest issue for the Padres this season for the spring training is going to be getting and keeping players in this organization because they don't have a lot of spots for everybody. But with JP Sears and what he did, again, the coaching staff is looking at how he managed that inning, how he went about, how he was executing certain pitches that he was designed to throw. He wasn't trying to go out there and just do a couple of things. It wasn't going out there and just trying to win the game, obviously, like you would see in the major leagues. I mean, they're all working on stuff. So I think we will never know how these players are individually getting evaluated for the day. I mean, JP Sears could have executed the one thing that they wanted him to work on today, and everything else is just kind of like, all right, well, whatever. We didn't really care about that. He could have been executing just one pitch today, for all we know. It's the over-analysis of Padres baseball. I do want to get into some Aztec basketball from the weekend. That was a tough showing against Colorado State. I just feel like they're kind of playing their way out of conversation. And a lot of Aztec fans are upset about like what Mark Ziegler wrote in the UT today. Mark Ziegler said a lot of factual things about Aztec basketball. And the one thing that's been really driving Aztec fans nuts was the idea that don't overlook USD being able to potentially flip the script. I'm telling you right now, in college athletics, it doesn't take a lot for college basketball programs to flip a switch. You don't need as many guys. You just need a couple. You invest any type of money in a team and you get the right coach, you're making an NCAA tournament. And people are jumping on the bandwagon. I mean, that's how it works. I said that before. I got my friends that are Aztec fans just losing their mind. USD can never reach what we did. What do you mean? UCSD made the tournament last year. They just became a D1 school. It didn't take them very long to do that. In terms of like building an arena that's big enough for everybody in town, they're like, yeah, they're never going to do that. But to say that they can't get to where the Aztecs are right now is foolish. I mean, what are the Aztecs right now? Like, what are they doing right now that is so hard for USD or UCSD to accomplish? Just competing in their conference? And they're running away with this thing. But you have 3 schools in town that are all D1 schools. Like, yeah, they have the energy of like the local fans, but it's not crazy. We're going to take a deeper dive into Aztec basketball when we come back in the 1 o'clock hour. We're going to talk about San Diego FC in the final hour as well. But for anybody that's upset with what Mark Ziegler said today, I got news. It's factual. And something that needs to be discussed when we come back. 1 o'clock, Braden Surprenant show, setting someone sports station 97 through the fan. So funny, dude. I saw on Twitter today, somebody was complaining that our local media never talks about the Aztecs. Bro, this show talks about college athletics and the Aztecs more than anybody else. It's hard to do when the Padres are in session, right? When they're in season. Because, I don't know, the Padres are kind of a big deal in town.
Are they?
Kind of are.
I haven't noticed.
But at the same time, our numbers are not 100%, right? I mean, we try the best of what we have. But we got Aztecs basketball. We talk about Aztecs basketball every week on the show. We clip the stuff every week on the show. We don't get a lot of views on it. We just don't. We post one Padres thing on YouTube, thousands of views, almost automatically. Aztecs, 20. It's what the market, I always get this all the time from a lot of my friends go, why do you talk about this so much on the air? It's like, well, that's because that's what the people want. That's what
you guys listen.
What the market is interested in. Like, well, we love college. I know you do. That doesn't mean the city does. Like, I don't know what to tell you. The people here, we want to talk about the Padres. The Padres are the main team in town.
Like we had, if I may go with this one, we have 87 views in a week and a half on our interview with Kevin Vance from last week. It's a great interview. We enjoyed it. We loved having him on, and we thought the interview was fantastic.
I know it's college baseball; it's slightly different than college basketball.
Which is why we put it on there. Our conversation about the Padres going to a 6-man rotation that you put up yesterday morning is at 527 views. Our conversation with Sam from Thursday, 1.4 thousand, and that was put up on Friday morning. We love talking about it. We really do, and we want you guys to be as excited about it as we are, but it's just we tried. It's not for a lack of trying.
I mean, it's like all the sport. I mean, it's hard. And the thing is, it's even before us. People have always said we can't get a pulse on San Diego State. We can't get anybody. It's hard in this town because you would have to be an Aztec alumni. There's a lot of people that live here that are not from here that have no connection to San Diego State that don't really jump in on it. But we talk Aztec basketball every once in a while. But the thing that really upset people today was like the conversation that Mark Ziegler put out about the 3 takeaways he had from the game against Colorado State. These are not crazy takeaways. These are very factual takeaways about Aztec basketball. I don't think it's unfair that this Aztecs team has been incredibly disappointing. I don't think that's unfair. I think this has been a very disappointing Aztec season. I look at what Mark Ziegler wrote about. I find it very interesting. About the one that was the most interesting was the description of the detailed context about number one takeaway. And the number one takeaway from this game against Colorado State for Mark Ziegler was the fact that this team is probably not coming back next year. He lays out the impending exodus about the portal era. And he said, let's just call a spade a spade. In 2026, every roster is on a 1-year contract. The transfer portal opens on April 7th. Conversations are happening right now. Agents are circling. NIL deals are forming, and programs are poaching. What does that mean? Well, we'll tell you in a second because we got to get to today's biggest fan. Totally forgot about that. Today's biggest fan is Bashar Kanbar in San Diego. Bashar Kanbar in San Diego. Qanbar. Give us a call in the next 10 minutes at 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, and you'll qualify for our grand prize. 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a Padres game with all the fan staff later this season, catered by Spiro's Mediterranean Cuisine. Remember to register your name at 97 through the fan, sd.com/biggest fan. Again, Aztec basketball. Let's talk about this. Okay? I think everything that Mark Ziegler said was factual. If you're upset about it, I think you're being a little emotional about the Aztecs, which is fine. All fans are like that. But I look at this Aztec team, and here's the deal. This is happening right now. As Mark Ziegler laid out, and I totally believe this. Aztecs have been, San Diego State has been an outlier when it comes to retaining players. 8 returning players, 54.4% minutes of continuity, which is the 9th best nationally. National average is 25%. The continuity is about to evaporate. 3 seniors are gone. Reese Dixon Waters, Jeremiah Oden, and Sean Newman Jr. 3 players are likely to return. Ty Simmons, Thakbor Majak, who hasn't played a lot, and Latrell Davis. And everybody else is a massive question mark. Is Miles Byrd coming back? Is Magoon Guath coming back? Is B.J. Davis coming back? Is Taj DeGorville coming back? Is Farrell Compton coming back? Is LZ Harrington coming back? Miles Heide, is he coming back? Some may leave by choice. Some may be nudged out by the coaching staff. But the uncomfortable part is, and this is what Mark Ziegler laid out, it's so true. The body language Saturday looked like a team that was already thinking about next year. Aztecs, number one nationally in defensive efficiency since January 1st, 90 points per 100 possessions. They gave up 123 to Colorado State on that efficiency. Brian Dutcher even acknowledged that players have agents. They are different things. There are different things going on in this new era, and San Diego State might be feeling it for the first time. I mean, here's the thing, Frank. Think about this for a second. They convinced Guath and Bird to come back, which I thought was great. And they had a lot of people coming back, and Reese Dixon Waters coming off of injury. And then they had that was after making the tournament. If they didn't even make the tournament, do you think these guys are all coming back next year?
No.
Probably not. Probably not. Now, I don't want to criticize Magoon Guath because the poor guy has been dealing with some massive injuries. He is the ultimate what if. 1 week, 13 points, 5 blocks against Nevada. The next 2 games, production has dropped, minutes shrank, body language sours, physically breaking down again, hip, knee, back, ankle history. And Coach Dutcher said in this piece by Mark Ziegler, if you can't get through practice, it's hard to demand quality minutes. That's a damning quote in itself, Frank, is it not?
Yeah.
I can't play a guy that doesn't even practice. Harsh truth. Availability matters more than upside. And Guath is a difference maker when healthy, but how many times can you repeat this cycle and be a successful program? And that uncomfortable NBA question lingers. If 30 college games are taxing to Magoon's body, what does 82 look like? I mean, he's not sustain. I thought I was shocked when Magoon Guath was thinking about going to the NBA because I'm sitting there going like, how is this guy going to make it through a season? It's so hard to make the NBA. Him, Miles Byrd, they're not making the NBA. I'd be shocked. Jaden Ledee couldn't make the NBA. Jaden Ledee, that guy was the number 1 player in the Aztecs. This guy was built. He was big. He could shoot. Could handle the ball well. Wasn't good enough for the NBA. Magoon Guath can't even make it through a season. I feel bad that he can't handle with the body, but like, he's an ultimate what if. I agree with Mark Ziegler. It's the reality. They got a rotation problem. Aztecs played better when rotation shrunk. Without Guath and Harrington and a 9-man rotation, they had cleaner roles, better flow. With everybody back, an 11-man rotation, the shorter shift, the frustration. Body language has gone south. Depth is usually a luxury in this era. It can trigger definitely different conversations, some transfer conversations. And as Brian Dutcher admitted, depth can lead to frustration. Frustration could lead to portal thoughts. Portal thoughts obviously affect the energy. It's dangerous. It's not like you are battling for a spot in the future, right? It's not like you're battling like, oh, I'm going to stay here and I can play and be part of this team for a long time. You don't have that. And so from a flow of, and this is what it leads to the last talking point, and Aztec fans they scoffed at this entire, the final piece of this conversation. But the most fascinating subplot of this, of course, is USD basketball. Now, USD basketball has been not great. It has not been great. They have not been good since 2008. When they beat UConn in the tournament, I mean, it is. They have not won the conference in the West Coast Conference, like in the regular season. I don't even think they've ever won it. But if you look at the general landscape, and Frank, I want you to follow along with me on this, because I don't think this is a crazy conversation. If San Diego State is getting themselves in a position where they got a bunch of guys on 1-year deals and they're just one and done, just like USD has been the last 4 seasons under Coach Lavin. If USD with this hiring process for a new head coach and they get money invested, it does not take a lot for San Diego to catch San Diego State from an on-court perspective. People are going to go like, I can't believe that you would even say that. It's not crazy in this day and age of college athletics. You don't need too many guys in basketball to flip your program.
No, you need to be able to spend the right money on the right people, just like in professional sports.
Yeah.
That's really all you need in this day and age. Now, yes, years ago, 5-10 years ago, yeah, that might be a crazy thought because now you're trying to recruit people away from San Diego State, who's constantly in the national championship picture. You don't have any real other incentives other than whether or not they're looking for an education, that, and the other thing. But now you can, if you have the money and you spend it on the right people in the right spots, you can recruit anyone. It's not that outlandish to think anymore.
If USD hires the right coach, and I think Kimya Massey has done a good. I mean, he doesn't mess around over there at USD. He's done some pretty good things. He's got some young coaches, and a lot of the programs over there have done really well. But with USD, they fired Coach Lavin. They're searching for their fourth coach during the Dutcher era over at San Diego State. Publicly have referenced NIL and revenue sharing. They have private school flexibility. They don't have, they do have football, but it's not at an FBS level that's draining a lot of resources. It drains some because they have to play in the Pioneer League. But Gonzaga's leaving the conference. Big Bad Gonzaga is not in the West Coast Conference next year. That opens the door for a lot of teams in the WCC. And this is where it gets interesting. Athletic director, as pointed out in this piece by Mark Ziegler, Kimya Massey understands NIL and revenue sharing, and he's all for it. If USD commits $3 million annually to revenue sharing, the gap shrinks quickly, even overnight. And that was the argument that Mark Ziegler made, and that's the argument that has upset Aztec fans today. It's like, oh, they can't. If you're spending the same amount of money as the school down the street, I'm telling you, you're competing. You could go get the same guys, Frank. It's not crazy. And we haven't even talked about UCSD. UCSD's trying to win over there in the Big West. They're joining the West Coast Conference. If you're UCSD and you put all this money into the athletic programs and into the streaming and into all that stuff, UCSD is on our radio station. You don't think they're committed to spending money and being at a D1 level? If USD is going to spend money on revenue sharing and players, and San Diego State's doing it, what you think UCSD is not going to do that? It's not a crazy concept to say that those two schools are going to get closer to San Diego State than they would like. I don't think Mark Ziegler said anything wrong with his thing today. It's an eye-opener for the Aztec fans for sure. And they'll disagree, and they continue to disagree with me on some of that stuff. But the reality is, it's factual. It doesn't take a lot to improve your basketball program. It doesn't. To get to the level that San Diego State is at. Now, you want to talk about like filling out Viejas Arena and USD and UCSD not being able to do that? I'll believe that for 100%. Terms of people talking about the Aztecs over USD and UCSD, I think that's fair. It's going to take them years to do that. But are we talking about on-court performance, Frank? You get a $3 million check and you're going to spend it, and it sounds like they got money. That gap's going to close very quickly.
And as we've seen with the Padres, all you need is the on-the-field thing. If you cover that, the rest of it will follow along. If you are a team that is winning consistently, if you're a team that's spending money and have some of the best players in the country on your team, you don't need to really advertise that much. People are going to find out, they will go. So that stuff will all fall in line after you get the on-court product figured out and have some sort of sustainability with winning. UCSD got a lot of fans with that national championship run that they got last year, for sure. And it's only going to grow if they show that they can continuously sustain that. They're going to be another 20-win program this year again.
Right. 100%. I mean, and this is like It's a down year for San Diego. San Diego State has played their way out of like being excited about 20 wins.
Yes.
And for the amount of resources they have and the success they have as a program and the players that they have, they should be dominating the Mountain West. And honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, Frank, I think it's going to be a rude awakening for them in the Pac-12. And you want to know why? Because Gonzaga is going to take money that is generated from football as an equal member of the Pac-12, and they're going to pump it into basketball. And guess what they currently don't have in the West Coast Conference? A TV contract that's as good as whatever the Pac-12 is going to be. Even if the Pac-12's contract is low for any type of Power 4, and it's going to be low, and if it's close to the American Conference, guess what? That's still better than the WCC's TV contract.
Yep.
And Gonzaga's already dominating in college basketball and are already getting some of the best players and already having a big budget for college basketball. And you're going to give them football money that they don't have to spend on football? I'm telling you guys, like, they're going to be a problem to deal with because San Diego State is not going to have the same resources as Gonzaga. They're not going to be on an even playing field. It's just, it's going to be a monster to deal with. And you're signing up to be, I mean, they're going to be better than USD in the West. San Diego State in the Pac-12 is going to be better than USD was in the West Coast Conference with Gonzaga. But I tell you what, you're signing up to be basically like San Francisco or like Portland or like some of these schools that do as best they can and just can't compete with Gonzaga's money. Just be careful about what you wish for. But everything that Mark Ziegler said, it is factual. And it's legitimate concerns for this program that had a very disappointing outcome against Colorado State, who probably basically have knocked themselves out of an at-large bid where they have to win a tournament. I mean, there is and this is what I mean by like raising the standard. The program standards have risen to the point, and with the schedule they played, Frank, and what they had coming back, they rose their standard to they shouldn't be a have to win a Mountain West tournament to get into the NCAA tournament team.
Yes.
And they are that team right now.
Mm-hmm.
833-288-973, 833-288-973. Kevin in Chula Vista, Vince in Chula Vista. We'll get your phone calls when we come back. Braden Surprenant Show, Standing Arm Sports Station, 97 through the Fan. We're going to get to the phone calls in a second. I want to mention that all guests that join us on the show join us now on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking. It's better. We broadcast live from the Bill House Studios each and every day. We're talking a little Aztecs basketball here. Bracketologies, it's not looking great. We'll talk more about that. And again, I don't want this to be like a crush the Aztecs deal. It's a disappointing season. Their program is still in a really good spot. But I think they have elevated their program so high that it shouldn't be acceptable like the way that they finished this year. But we'll see. We'll see what the Aztecs have in store. I mean, here's the thing with San Diego State. They're probably a win the Mountain West Tournament in team. But right now, like, unless they sweep Utah State, Boise State, and New Mexico, it's going to be tough. I do want to shout out the Lady Aztecs, though. They won the conference. At least a share of the title. How about Chris Ello going up there and cutting off a piece of the net? Phenomenal. Chris Ello gets to go to the, they got to, I think they, I don't know the bracketologies for the women's basketball right now, but I think they are I don't think they have to win the tournament to make the NCAA tournament, but see Chris Ello go call a game in the NCAA tournament again. It's going to be great. I do want to give a shout out. Fridge Watcher, guy that puts us on his fridge. Alpine United girls under 13 soccer. 2 wins this weekend, tied for first in the State Cup group stage. Continue dominating in Norco this weekend. Congrats to the Alpine United girls under 13 soccer team. Love it. Love it. And yes, big game tomorrow. USD, UCSD baseball. I will be on the call for USDtoreros.com tomorrow at UCSD. Should be a good one. UCSD, tough one over the weekend. But hey, you know what? They had a nice win on Friday. They came back to beat Creighton. USD baseball had a big night all night over the weekend. They beat Utah 8-4 on Friday. They run-ruled Creighton 15-5 on Saturday, and then they used a lot of mistakes by Aztec pitching last night to beat San Diego State 15-4 at Tony Gwynn Stadium yesterday. USD goes a perfect 3-0 in the Tony Gwynn Legacy Tournament. I know it's a big deal for head coach Brock Ungrich, a guy that played for Tony Gwynn Jr. for Tony Gwynn, played for Coach Gwynn. So for him to get a win like that, the final win, to go undefeated in the tournament and do it in a place that he played while looking at the banner of Tony Gwynn out there at San Diego State. Really, really cool moment for Brock Ungrich and company. They try to add on and do well against UCSD on Tuesday before Michigan comes to town over the weekend. That should be a fun time as well. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Vince in Chula Vista. Vince, what's going on, man?
Hey, Braden. It's going well. Hope everything's good with you guys. Great topic that you have now. I just wanted to kind of weigh in a little bit. This is, with the Aztecs and what you were saying about USD and heck, UCSD for that matter, you're absolutely right. We are now right smack in the middle of one and done like never before. And you said it. There are agents that are circling. There's tampering that surely is taking place. If you look at other parts of the country, Alabama had a kid that failed in the G League, found a sympathetic judge and let him come back for 5 or 6 games. Whoever has the money, if USD can put the boosters together and get the NIL together, and granted, it's not a football school, not at the level that the SEC or the Big Ten is. So you're not going to have, that football money that underpins everything on those college campuses. But they put a little bit of bank together, and you're exactly right. It's not going to take them long to put a team together that can compete with the Aztecs. And not only that, just 1 year of high caliber winning, and people are going to start talking about the Toreros. They're going to start talking about UCSD if they're going to compete. And they'll talk about the Aztecs as well, but it's not going to be a singular conversation that the Aztecs enjoyed here in the recent past. And I mean, come on. It's not like we're talking about the SEC here. That's an absolute meat grinder once those teams hit conference play. What is this? The
West Coast
WC,
Conference?
Whatever yeah. I mean, Colorado State, the bastion of college basketball, Utah State. I mean, please, it's not like you're playing, Alabama, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, Auburn, back to back to back to back. And so I kind of look forward to it. And I just wanted to weigh in. It's what we've got now, guys, with NIL. This is what it's turned into. It's turned into Calipari's one and done on steroids. And last thought here, thank you so much for bringing up USD baseball, man. It's great to see them out here. I think they're going to be. I look forward to seeing a couple of games. I love going down there. The great stadium environment to watch really, really good baseball. And I have a kid at Auburn, and I'll be going out here in a few weeks to catch a few Auburn series. They're ranked pretty well too. I love watching that caliber of baseball. It's just an awful lot of fun. So Braden, again, man, thank you as always.
Yeah, appreciate the call.
Having me on. I appreciate you. Keep going.
Appreciate the call from Vince. Vince was mentioning all the teams in the Mountain West right now for San Diego State to deal with, and the same thing is true with the Pac-12. I mean, the argument is not like USD is going to be the talk of the town and they're going to achieve everything that San Diego State did. The conversation is, with a little bit of money, USD can literally catch what you're seeing right now with the Aztecs on the court. That's the conversation. And UCSD could do the same thing. It's not crazy. It's not like as you mentioned, they're going through a gauntlet of teams in the Mountain West Conference. I mean, what's the difference? I mean, you look at a team a school like USD, they don't have to do with Gonzaga anymore. They're gone. It's going to be Seattle U and Denver and San Francisco and Portland and Pepperdine. I mean, St. Mary's will be tough as long as they stay in the conference. If they spend close to San Diego State, they're going to get the same players. It's not like they're doing something that's just like drastically different. They have the money in this day and age. You spend the money to get good players in there. And if all things are considered equal, it's not going to take a lot to get to that point with the right coaching hire and spending money. But they have to do both of those things. They don't get the right coaching hire, not going to be able to do it. They don't spend the money, not going to be able to do it. But that's the conversation. And Mark Ziegler laid it out. And I for everybody that was upset with Mark Ziegler's article today, which I guess was a lot of people, it's factual. It wasn't that crazy. With the same amount of money spent on a roster, it's not crazy to say that Team B can catch Team A very quickly. It's not. It's amazing what money does in college athletics. Let's get out to Kevin in Chula Vista. Kevin, what's going on?
Well, you guys are right on, and Vince said a lot of stuff that is true, and so have you, and so has Mark Ziegler. And your eyes don't lie. And I would ask people to take a look at what they see that are watching Aztec basketball and tell us what is the one thing that they do that is consistently good. I can't find any at this point.
It was defense, Kevin. That's what it was. But they don't even have that this year. They don't even have defense to rely on this year. It's not great.
Correct. And it used to be defense. Also, Dutcher teams, Fisher teams used to always be noted for we get better as the season goes on. This team has regressed for whatever reason. Too many playground players, not enough basketball players. The other problem is when you talk about the nil, look, for all intents and purposes, you keep going into these 1-year contracts with these young kids, and this is what you end up with at the end of the day. Don't ask me, don't ask us as fans, alumni, to continue to support a bunch of 1-year, 18-year-olds that have no loyalty. They have no loyalty to San Diego State. And let's not lionize them as some great contributors when they're the one and done. I'm done with this. And I think a lot of other people, you can see what's happening in football. This will catch up to the Aztecs in basketball at some point. And the USD comparison at this point, look, if they're in a weaker conference and they take the conference, guess what? They get to go. They get to go to the dance. San Diego State could finish second or third in the new, whatever conference you want to call this thing, and they're sitting home. Last question, how does this program, which was so lauded and lionized and revered as being the odds-on favorite, not just to take the conference, but to literally smash it, and now they're struggling to win 20? There's a lot more internally going on here that I don't think Mark actually revealed than we know about. But they've got some problems inside that locker room that is evident by the play on the court and the inconsistency and the total lack of attention to basketball fundamentals. This team is a miserable example of what the 2023 Padres were. Remember how they were supposed to win the World Series. And this is the equivalent with Aztec basketball this year in terms of the fall off. So there's issues out there, and it's going to be interesting to see how they navigate through this. There needs to be a lot of changes for sure.
I think a lot of those things too, Kevin. I appreciate the phone call. I mean, there's a couple of things that I honestly, and Mark Ziegler lays it out because they were number one in defensive efficiency up until the last 2 games since January. And the reality is there's something to be said about the timeline for this of kids leaving. When April 7th rolls around, it's not just like, oh, I'm just going to leave. There's conversations being had. I mean, they have to do this now. There's a lot of that in play. And to be honest with you, it's been remarkable the job that the coaching staff at San Diego State and Brian Dutcher has done at keeping kids. The 9th best in the country at keeping kids at San Diego State. That's great. That tells you about the culture of the program. But I don't know how many more years you could keep that going if you don't have the budget that these other schools have. And until they address the NIL problems with the NCAA and then they start bringing the sheriffs into the wild, wild west that is NIL in college athletics, this is going to be a massive problem for San Diego State. And unfortunately, there's not much they could really do about it. I mean, they have to do what they got to do with what they got and the cards that they've been dealt. But that being said, in comparison to the other Mountain West schools, there's no excuse for the play that they have had in terms of the Mountain West. That's the frustrating thing. In the grand scheme of college athletics, if the Aztecs get blown out by Michigan, they get blown out by Michigan. Michigan's got $12 million roped into their roster. San Diego State's lucky to have 4, if they even have that. But the disappointing thing is, out of all the programs in the Mountain West, San Diego State has been the best program in this conference. San Diego State has had the most success in this conference. San Diego State has probably the biggest budget when it comes to these things in the conference, and they're coming up empty. And that's the frustrating part about the Aztecs, is the fact that they haven't been able, and maybe it is the players thinking about leaving and worried about their next move and all that stuff. There's a lot of distractions. You got to try to mitigate. And guess what? San Diego State's not the only team that's dealing with that. And I do agree with they're not horrible. They're disappointing. It's just been disappointing. They're not terrible. I mean, it's not like they went from being an NCAA tournament team almost every year to being 4 wins and look like San Jose State. It's not that. It's just disappointing. And some things haven't gone their way. I understand that. I'll agree with that as well. But we can't make excuses for what a program has done over the years and why they are a Mountain West tournament run away from making it. That should never even be part of the conversation. I mean, New Mexico had just passed them in the, projected bracket, if you will. They got it in front of them. They got to go out there and compete. I mean, they talked about it, right? I mean, I heard Miles Bird say, I think we're the best team. Well, then you got to start doing it at this point. We'll take a quick break. San Diego FC, big weekend over the weekend. We'll talk about it next. Well, the show flew by. I do want to mention Miguel Andujar hit a bomb today. That's kind of positive news, huh? How about that? Miguel Andujar, 1 for 2, run scored, RBI, home run, OPS 1,000. Starting DH, put him out there right now. Results. Overanalyze the results. Padres down 4-1 in the bottom of the 5th. Laureano 0 for 2 today with a strikeout. Will Wagner 0 for 2 today. Fernando's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Andujar's got the home run. Ty France got a knock today. It's 1 for 2. He's hitting 400 right now in the spring. Freddie Fermin 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Bryce Johnson 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Mason McCoy's up right now. He's 0 for 1. Rodriguez is 0 for 1. From a pitching standpoint, JP Sears, not a great day. 2/3 of an inning, 4 earned runs, 4 hits, and a home run. We don't know what he was working on today. Who knows? The coaching staff will. Again, don't overanalyze the results. Lowen came in 1/3 of an inning, got a strikeout. David Morgan, a one perfect inning with 1 strikeout. Mason Miller pitched an inning. He had a walk and a strikeout. Wandy Peralta had 2 strikeouts and a walk in his 1 inning. Jeremiah Estrada, 1 inning, 3 walks and a strikeout. Obviously, don't like the walks there, but again, don't know what the pitchers are working on right now. Obviously, working on a lot of different pitches, getting a lot of stuff. But the good, the bad, and the ugly of spring training baseball, Frank. Miguel Andujar, I'd like to see him go deep right there. It's great. It's great to see. You were
certainly
super bought in on Miguel Andujar when he was a Yankee, which
Yes,
is hard for you to do. Give any credit to the New York Yankees in any type of capacity.
Exactly. But yeah, I've always really liked the way Miguel Andujar has played, and now I get to root for him on a team that I actually care about instead of one that I despise.
Oh, you despise the Yankees. Nobody hate watches the team more than Frank with the Yankees. Unless Frank despises a soccer team I don't know and hates watch them more than the Yankees.
No.
But I think that's probably the
deal. But however, as much as I hate the Yankees, remember, I hate the Mets just that much more.
Nobody hates the Mets more than Mets fans.
Exactly right.
Take that for what it's worth.
It's a character building exercise that I wish on nobody.
Go Aztecs. Tyler Wade went 2 for 2 game 1. Should we question losing him?
Yes. Yep. It's over. It's over, boys. It is over.
Oh, man. What a disaster. Should have kept him. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Mr. Power Cat himself, Ron in La Mesa, wants to join the show. Ron, what's going on?
Frank, just hate New York. They just put it in one big bundle and just hate New York, baby. That's what I say. Hey, guys, I just got off the course and caught some of the Aztec talk, and you may have already talked about this. One of the things I noticed is that all year long, they just don't seem to flow as a team. It seems like Dutcher this year has had the hardest time finding a really good starting lineup that flowed together, that played together. And this could be, like you were saying earlier, Braden, that there's so much talent on this team. He's trying to give everybody a chance. And I think this is the first time since I've been watching them that they've actually not had a legitimate starting 5. And then you play up to the fact that some of your best stars are having a really not great season. And I think it just looked like you said. Somebody said it looks like playground baseball or basketball. That's exactly what it looks like. And I don't necessarily blame Dutcher. I just think you're right. I think the kids are more into themselves. And we talked about a salary cap in baseball. Looks like we need to get a salary cap in NIL and all sports or the collegiate games going down the tube, boys. So anyway, I got my T-shirt. I hate New York. So hang in there, Frank.
I gotta, you know what? I gotta know, Ron, before you leave. I mean, what do we got on the Kansas State basketball situation, Ron? What's your weighing on that?
They play basketball?
Well, I don't know if they, maybe they did for a long time, but
let's put it this way: I've been wearing a sack over my head too. It's going to get ugly. But this goes back to last year when that one player, and I cannot remember his name, was deemed ineligible and kicked out by the president. And Tang threw a fit. The students struck. And so there's a real bad disconnect between the upper administration and the sports. Because Kleinman, I think, had the same issue. And even though I hear they're going to bring him back as a recruiting guy, but there's a big gap between administration and the coaches right now. So I'm keeping my head down and hoping that Optimus Klein is the savior of K-State.
Yeah, it might be the case, Ron. I think a lot of colleges are dealing with that problem. It's crazy. Salary cap, college athletics. Who would have thought? Don't even get me started on that topic, Frank. We don't have time. We'd take up all of Gwyn and Chris today.
Yeah, right.
Jeez. They got to do something about it. That's the thing. They got to do something about it because it's instead of the kids being it's part of the thing is it's part of the deal, right? Like everybody's dealing with this problem of the distraction of where am I going to be the next year? And like how you eliminate the distractions is a hard task to do that everybody, not just San Diego State, that has to deal with it. But it's crazy. College sports. Word of the day, shrinkage. Adjusted exit velo. I can't believe that was a definition. I feel like it's wrong, but you know what? The shrinkage.
You feel that, huh? You feel it's wrong, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was a Nugenix commercial.
As long as you feel it's wrong.
Frank, what does getting out of a pool have to do with exit velocity? I don't know, buddy. You brought it up, not me.
I mean, no. I think it's a genuine question. Guy takes an ice bath, and all of a sudden, we're knocking his exit velo.
We're knocking his performance on the exit velo. Shrinkage. We'll have more time to talk about him tomorrow, and we'll do it on our San Diego FC update that we're going to get to later on today that we'll post on YouTube. How was your time in the press box for San Diego FC?
It was incredible. Loved it. The energy from the Ultras last night was insane. Like we sit, if you know the layout of Snapdragon Stadium.
Nobody listening to us has any idea what Snapdragon Stadium's like.
The Ultra section is like right below and to the left of the press box. When they did their opening chant with the claps, the SD, I felt the press box shaking. Like it was unbelievable, and it catches your attention immediately. As I said, Montreal, not one of the better teams in the MLS, not one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. San Diego FC certainly played as though they were not. They had the goal early from McVeigh on a corner, and then it was the goal by Pellegrino on the ball that got up and over, and it was 2-on-1 with Dreyer and Pellegrino. That scored right as halftime was really the straw that broke the camel's back. And then the floodgates opened after 5 minutes into the second half when Montreal went down a man on a red card. And then it was just open season for San Diego FC after that. I mean, they were toying with them for a vast majority of that second half. And anyone who was maybe questioning whether or not San Diego FC is going to be able to duplicate what they did last year, I texted Braden. They looked like a team that played pissed that they came one win away from a potential MLS championship last year, and vowed not to make that same mistake again. This is going to be a very, very dangerous team this year. 5 goals, 5 different goal scorers. That's impressive.
I think the other thing, they look like they have played multiple games already against higher level competition.
Yes.
I mean, Montreal was not very good last year. Did they come in last?
No, second to last.
Second to last.
DC United was worse.
So good start to the season in the MLS season. Now they have one more MLS game before they take on Toluca.
I believe so.
They have to go to Kansas City, I think. If I'm not
mistaken.
No,
St. Louis is coming here.
Oh, St. Louis. St. Louis is coming here. They might have 2 games then before they play Toluca, but you know what? It's good to have them back on the MLS run. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. Go get your Sea Dog. Don't forget about it. There it is, the Sea Dog. We'll maybe try that for you later in the week. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Gwyn and Chris coming up next.